Jason, Friday the 13th, it's Skeleton Crew, one time, no chorus. That story goes, one day in 1957, Jason drowns at the young age of 11. The counselors ain't hear nothing, they were too busy fucking. He gasped for his last breath, trying to reach for something. That was all they saw, this kid was reported drowned. They searched Crystal Lake, but his body was never found. Mom broke down and cried, her only son died. While little Jason, that's all she had in her life. Mommy just snapped, she said, I'm getting him back. Time heals all wounds, but she never could adapt to the fact her baby boy is never coming back. Those two responsible assholes, they better watch the back. But they didn't, they're dead, their bodies are laying in the mud. I'd like to welcome you all to Camp Blood. It's only time they find out what it's all about. Now it's time, it's lights out, and no one's getting out. Paul would like you all to gather around the fire. He just spit the legend, didn't know he was a liar. Jason's back with a hole in the sack, and he's got his eye on the pack-a-knack. Grab your pot, slingshot, and pop him in the asses. No matter how hot these bitches, they don't get no passes. So forget the perfume, you're spraying down your pants as the spear goes through you in the middle of your dance. Skinny dips with hot chicks, drinking at the bars, almost getting laid in wheelchairs. You won't live to see the scars. No one's gonna heal, this is the real deal. You won't get out alive, you won't believe the pain you will feel. Shit, I ain't gonna lie. 3D, OG, now everybody's raving. Shit's coming right at me, going to Higgins Haven. Oh damn, now wait a minute, did Jason shave his head with a Bic? What do you mean the end of part 2 was a dream? That shit was epic! Chocolate donuts, drinking some Sunny D. Harold, your gray pants are too tight. No, not on you, you asshole. Jason! Yes, Jason! He took that shit last night! There goes Shelly again, acting like a dick. Stop playing games, how you expect to fuck this Spanish chick? I'll say one good thing about my boy Shelly. He proved he got some guts inside that belly. Oh shit, he pissed off a bunch of bikers. Tracked them down, poured gas around. Loco and Fox, where are the fucking lighters? We got harpoons and handstands walking down the halls. Boy, you wanna mess around, you're getting slipped between the balls. Everyone likes this one cause Jason got his mask. Chris hanged him, killed him. Whoa, wait, oh shit. Whoa, not so fast. Let's cut the crap and end this rap in the final chapter. Let's cut to the twins and the douchebag trying to get him plastered. But first I'm pissed, this thing called me a dead fuck. But Ted, I dated Betty, you know I got my dick sucked. Let's roll back 2 movies ago. Remember Sandra from part 2? Well, time to meet her brother. Tommy took him right into his bedroom. And guess what? He didn't even introduce this guy to his mother. What? No one realized Jason wasn't dead? Rob came to kill him, but he got killed instead. So much for avenging your sister's death, homie. Dude's down in the basement yelling, he's killing me! Jimbo, it's in limbo, you might not get this chick's pants. Oh yeah, yo, show this girl you can dance. Corkscrews, we lose, Jason's always the winner. Tommy can't save us, right? Look, he's just a beginner. No, this boss was upstairs shaving his head. Picked up the machete, one swing, and Jason's dead. Damn, dude, Jason's dead, sliding down that machete like his head was a sled. The Skeleton Crew. Check us out. Horrorphilia.com, theskeletoncrew.net. Alright guys, it's our second go-around with the Friday the 13th Part 3D review. So let's get into some in-depth stuff this time.
Did you hear the sound that Harold makes when he gets cleavered into the chest? It's like, and then he just like drops.
He breathes out, yeah?
Yeah, it's kind of like a breathing. It's like,
You know, actually, before we get into this, I spoke personally with Amy Steele from Friday the 13th Part 2 about possible involvement in Friday the 13th Part 3 because that's my favorite person ever in a Friday the 13th.
She should have
not person, I shouldn't say. I should say heroine. That's not my favorite heroine. That's my favorite heroine in the Friday movies.
Ah, okay. Yeah, you gotta go for China White if you're going for the real stuff.
Exactly.
Right.
What was my joke last time? Black tar? Okay. So, she said the original script was she was actually supposed to be in Part 3, and it was to take place a year or so later, and she was in college, and Jason stalked her in college. And, you just picture that. Just picture, like, the same, atmosphere and lighting and camera and Jason's look and all that and Ginny. And you picture it in college and this bright white hallways and shit. And it's just, I don't know, man. What do you guys think? I don't think it works.
I don't think it would have worked. I mean, I already have issue enough with how he tracked down Alice at the beginning of part 2. So this, I think that would just be...
the same shit.
That would just be bordering on ridiculous. Because is he going to be wandering the college campus looking at the directory, going into each of the dorms, asking if she lives there? I mean, how would he even do that? Plus,
Yeah, he'd
hide behind a bush and see her walk.
Wait, no. Here's Jason going to ask. Okay. Because, he runs when he gets stabbed or something, I don't know. So apparently that's all he knows how to do, so he'll be like...
Yeah, see, he's holding up a stick figure drawing that he did of her to each person that he comes in contact with, pointing at it,
Hieroglyphics.
But,
I don't know her.
On Crystal Lake Memories... She says that, and then she didn't want to do that. But then I think, didn't someone say that really she just asked for too much money and that's why she ended up not doing it?
It could have been, because she seems stuck up enough to do that.
No, she's not, Mike. She's awesome.
She was stuck up. But I think that, one of their biggest things was like, yes, these movies made money, but they made money because they were so cheap. And in order to be in them, you had to work cheap. And right. I think it was her that they were talking about when they said that really the reason that ended up not happening is that she just wanted too much money to come back. But
yeah, but she deserves it, man. She was the best. Like, fuck that.
Yeah, sure. No, I mean, I think I'm down with that. And honestly, I really don't think that beginning would have worked anyway. I much prefer the way that they did it. I like the beginning of this film.
That brings me to an observation. The recap. What do you think about the recap? Do you guys like that they recapped it, or do you not?
I like it. I mean, they of course they added the bit of footage where he's actually crawling away after Jenny hits him in the shoulder, which we don't see at the end of part 2. He's still laying there, so we get the assumption that he's dead, of course. But then at the beginning of 3, you get the little bit that they added where he's crawling away from that to let you know, yes, he is still alive. I kind of like that. I don't have an issue. Plus, Friday always recaps. That's what... The best recap, of course, being the recap at the beginning of Part 4, which was insanely good. Perfect. But up to that, they had always done that. So I kind of expect that from a Friday film.
I think it's cool.
When they get to the point where they don't do that anymore, that's when it feels weird to me.
Like 5 and 6 and 7. Well, 7 did it.
Yeah.
8 didn't do it.
It's not the same series anymore. The first 4 are their own entity as far as they're if they would have stopped at the final chapter, there'd be no disputing what the best franchise ever is. Not that there is anyway, in most of our opinions.
Incidentally, I watched WatchMojo.com last night. They had a top 10 horror franchise list, and Friday was number 1.
Nice.
Halloween being number 2, Nightmare on Elm Street being number 3. Those are all very predictable. But fucking Scream got number 10, and I was really upset about that. I think Scream needs to be higher up because it is a very strong franchise, but... I know that's neither here nor there.
Well, didn't we sort of find out that 2 really isn't as strong as we always sort of thought?
Well, I guess that's true. And 3 is total crap.
Right.
Okay, well,
we said 2 isn't as strong.
I still don't think it should land at 10 on the strength of the first one alone.
Right.
But
Mike, we did the infamous Scream retrospective.
Okay, well, I wasn't here for that, obviously, but let me tell you something.
Right.
Scream 2.
Let me tell you something.
Is exactly. Let me tell you something, or I can't fucking do it. But Scream 2 is strong because Randy sacrificed himself for that movie.
Oh boy, Randy.
That makes
he always has
strong.
somebody that
it's a stronger film because he died.
It's funny.
I just watched Jamie Kennedy in a new movie. Oh my God. One, he looks really old. I was like, God, and I was like, that guy looks like an aged Jamie Kennedy. And Brian goes, that is Jamie Kennedy. I was like, oh, fuck.
Mike wanted to review that movie. Wasn't that the one, Mike?
I tried to get him for an interview, but his representation did not return my email, and I'm very upset about that.
That's crazy.
We're doing that on Evil Episodes tonight. We're going to be reviewing
Wow. It's funny you should mention Randy because I'm going to bring him up later when I have a point to make. Basically, because I've seen this movie so many times, I just have a bunch of observations that I'm just going to bring to the table. Some things I've noticed before, some things I didn't, but I tried to keep it things that I've never brought up on any show before. So that's the approach I took to this time. But back to the recap, do you guys think that was Brooker in that scene when they show him crawling away?
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
I think so too. I think they intentionally made him look a little smaller in that scene.
I never put that much thought into it. I just assumed since I didn't like measure him or do
Measure him.
Is this like a forced perspective thing? I didn't put things against the screen for scale. I just assumed that it would be him since he was playing Jason in this movie. They're like, oh, by the way, since you're playing Jason, we need this part too.
Exactly. That's what I thought.
I will say that during the recap, you can tell that it's not part 2 Jason because part 3 Jason, of course, in the recap, looks like less of a pussy than part 2 Jason. I mean, he looks like he can, like a brooding, kick-some-ass gentleman.
You get that from him on the floor crawling a couple of inches. You get, wow, you're good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he has, like, manly hands that just, like, when you look at them, he can, like, rip you the fuck up.
He's like B. Arthur in a cowl.
Yeah.
Thank you for being a friend.
Exactly.
Was Jason wearing the part 2 clothes or the part 3 clothes when he was crawling on the floor?
Clothes.
No, he was not.
That's it.
No, he was not. I have a whole thing about this to present to you guys.
He looked
It
grand.
looks different.
No.
And he didn't get the part 3 clothes until he goes to the store and steals them off the clothesline.
Thank you. See, I never realized that, Jamie.
And
that's
this
where he
is
got
what I
the
don't
clothes.
get. Harold.
Wow.
Harold was, a bulbous gentleman, so I don't understand.
Yeah, he was a hefty fellow, but but I still think that his clothes wouldn't have been big enough to fit Jason.
Right.
And I've made that observation.
Right.
I've made that observation in the past, and Brian was like, "Well, look at it." He's like, "The sleeves are a little bit too short." He's like, "If you look at it really closely, it does kind of look like he's wearing borrowed clothes." And I was like, "Well,
Ooh, we shut you down.
Well, that's
Damn
funny.
it, I have to look at that again now.
Mike, I can't believe you didn't know that, because I was going to ask you guys, all these years I watched this movie, when I watched this movie, I watched it with different eyes this time. I was trying to pick up on different things. That's like I said earlier. So, what's that?
I said, did you borrow Irene's?"
No, I had 3D glasses on for the first time.
Okay, thanks for muting that out.
So anyway, the quick change situation. I never realized that he got the clothes from Harold until this time watching it.
Wait, it was
I just thought that they just tried. Well, why not, Alex? They changed his
Did they
look.
rain
Why
down
not
on the
change his
table or
clothes?
what?
No, I mean, Dave, I totally get that. It's actually been within the last couple of years that I bothered to pick up on it myself. And it's because of the line that his wife gives when she's like, "You just take your own stuff and you leave everything else for me." And then I'm like, took his own stuff. Jason took his fucking clothes.
Oh.
That's,
Dave, what the fuck do you think I was rapping about in my song?
Well, check it out. I don't know. You said something about changing clothes? Or
They
taking
should
out
have
from the
showed him
line?
change clothes. I think that would have been more realistic if he did.
Oh, yeah. I said, Harold, your gray pants are too tight. No, not on you, asshole. Jason, he took that shit last night.
Jason,
Like, what did you...
yeah, I do remember you saying that.
I heard that, but I thought you meant he took a shit last night.
Shit!
He took a shit last night.
Oh,
I need
fuck.
to see him shit and change clothes. That would have made this movie a lot better.
Well, you did see it. Well, you didn't see him change. You saw Harold shit. You saw
Yeah,
Jason
we need a
shit.
changing room scene with a full-length mirror, him spinning
The
around.
camera's on the top, making sure you don't steal any socks.
I want a
freeze frame.
3-camera shoot. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Well, why the fuck did Jason change?
Because there was blood all over it, and it was cut down the side of the shirt with his shoulder.
So he just decided, hey, well, I better change my clothes.
See, well, I mean, I kind of wonder that, too, because this is a guy who's been living in a shack in the woods with no running water for, like, 30 years. I really
look at that
seriously
toilet.
doubt he'd give that much of a damn.
Well, if you cut down where she cut on his what's that called? Where she cut?
The shoulder?
Yeah, I guess next to the shoulder, like that middle part. His sleeve would just fall and droop down.
Well, that's
Like-
true.
like Freddy?
Or maybe he actually had the presence of mind to think that they would be looking for someone wearing those clothes, and
Well, that's why he shaved his head.
he should change. Yeah,
Where did
I
he get a
believe that.
razor?
I mean,
Okay.
I believe that because I got to tell you, the one thing
Shit.
standing between me recognizing that dude as the guy who attacked me like the day before is him shaving his head. That I would be like, what? Different guy? What are you talking about? Because there are
That's
so
not
many
him.
guys with a half melted face running around this place.
Now,
What?
No, it's not him. I know the melted face is there, but his hair was way longer.
yeah, it could be
And
Flopsy.
obviously, yes, for everyone out there, we're fully aware that his face is not melted. I get that, but you know what I mean. It's all droopy and
Droopy dog.
because somebody's gonna do that. Somebody's gonna
He's
be
a
like, his
retard.
face isn't melted.
He's a retard, that's all.
What about Steve Miner? He directed 2 and he directed 3.
Yeah, how about that? Let's talk about how Steve Miner is coming off of probably the greatest 80s slasher of all time.
Yeah, and he makes one that's even better than that greatest 80s slasher of all time. If we're talking about the second one, he just elevates.
You cannot think this is better.
It
It's
totally
not better than
is.
part two.
Totally is.
It's a great
Totally
movie.
is.
It's not better than part 2, but Steve Miner, why?
Part 2.
What's that, Jamie?
I think this one's better than part 2.
Yes.
How could you
Jamie
say
knows.
that?
Jamie knows.
Jamie.
I think. Well, I love the presence of Jason in this film. Richard Brooker he's so menacing, and he's got those. I mean, he's huge. I mean, with those shoulders. I mean, he's just. I love it. And so the chase scenes that we get with him and Chris in the house,
Awesome.
when you just see
The chase scene with Ginny.
I
Doesn't
love it.
compare.
What?
Sackhead is just
compare.
Sackhead's scarier, but they're both great chase scenes. 2 of the best ever.
Yeah, they're 2 of the best. I was going to say this one is right under part 2. This is the best one in the franchise besides part 2.
They're right up there. They're neck and neck, 2 and 3, as far as
Mike, how could you not like part 2?
It's because it's just, dude, Steve Dash and Warrington Gillette, okay, valiant effort, but compared to Brooker, they're just not, no.
Yes, they are. Dude, Brooker was awkward, if anything. The way he had that big hunchback and the way he walked away after he shot Vera
I
so
love that
awkwardly.
scene.
That's great.
Yeah, I that's like a strut. That's a badass, I don't give a fuck strut.
Dude, it's a fucking I got poles on my back strut. That's not a badass strut. That's a goddamn this padding is awkward. I can't even walk.
Padding. I think it's awesome. The way he walks out, shoots her, and the way he walks away. Like I'm the
Like a
motherfucker.
gangster?
Yeah,
Yes,
he
like a
drops the
gangster.
mic and he's like,
Yes.
he's like, bam, don't give a fuck, and then
Yeah.
walks away. That
I
I
love it.
love.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. I do. I prefer
Barely waits
Sackhead.
for her ass to hit the water.
Yep,
Like, bitch went down.
yep.
Bam! Bitch goes down. Super bitch.
Gillette and Dash would not do that. They'd be like, well, okay, yeah. Like when the Gimp died in part 2, it's like you didn't even hang around to look at the guy go down. He just,
You don't have to. You don't have to.
Yeah, but you need to look at your handiwork and admire it and be like, wow, I killed that fucking ass.
That's not Jason's style.
You just got done praising him for not looking at Vera. He didn't even wait till she hit the fucking water, and now you're gonna say he's an asshole for not looking at this guy?
No, he got a brief glimpse of her. He didn't even stick around for the cripple. He got a brief glimpse of Vera.
Dude, who the fuck even knows where he came from the cripple? When they show both camera angles, he's not behind them or in front of them.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. That always catches me every time. As much as I love that death scene, and I do.
I think he just leaped up on the front of the porch and just hit him in the face from the side.
But see, Alex, what you just said...
Like a hiya!
Right, but see, Alex, what you just said is proof that part 2 is not as good as part 3, because part 3 would not have those flaws.
Oh, yes, it does, Mike. Yes, it does. There is a scene in this very movie where not the same way as part 2, but the way Jason's motion makes a move and what happens to the body after makes no sense.
I disagree.
Same thing. Well, I can tell you now, or we can get it when we get to the kills. I don't know if we're staying on Miner now. My thing was...
No, do it now, because we have to defend part 2. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about it. the famous scene when Andy's walking on his hands, doing his handstand. You look up and you see Jason, and I gotta tell you, once again, for years, I never even knew what happened to Andy. Like, and everyone always loved that scene. It's not really clear cut when you see it. Afterwards,
Do you close your eyes when you watch movies, Dave?
If you have Cracked magazine from like 1993 when Jason Goes to Hell came out and they outlined all the kills, you know for sure what happened. Yeah.
You can go frame by fucking frame on that shot.
Or you could just watch the movie and know for sure. It's pretty, it's pretty clear.
I've watched it a million times.
He's folded in half in that top, like above the hammock.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's chopped in half. Right. And you see him afterwards, you see his handiwork. I get that. But at the time, he is standing straight up, and Andy's walking on his fucking, on his hands. The way Jason comes down, it's like Hassan chop. It's
exactly
down. Okay, check it out. If you're going straight down, he would be split the other way. Like he would split him let's say he would hit his balls or whatever, he would split him in half the other way. If you're going to chop a guy in half, you would have to swing it like a baseball bat per se.
Yeah, you're right about that, because when we see his body above Debbie's body when she's reading the Fango, and we see his body up in the rafters, it is clear that he is cut in half above the waist, and you can see his intestines and all of that. And you're right. The way he actually killed him in the hall, it was a straight down through the legs. It should have sliced him in half vertically. Right. So yeah, you're right about that.
I must be missing something, because I always thought that is how he was sitting up on top of Debbie. He was split down the middle and folded over.
Well, maybe I need to go back and pay closer attention to that scene, because I swear that when I watched it last, I was looking at it and it looked like it was his waist.
I'm looking right now. No, it is split.
Oh, it is? Okay. Well, then never mind.
Yeah, Dave, it's proper.
Apparently, I close my eyes when I watch movies.
Yeah, I don't look at that part either, because Jason scares me when, just...
Wow. Well, I guess we'll put it up for vote or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way, the point is, we're questioning it the same way, we're questioning the kill, just like Mike says, you can question the kill, which that's a fact in part 2.
Yeah, but Jason could have just jumped up on the ledge on the side where the banister is of a deck and just hit him in the face with a machete. He didn't have to. It wouldn't make sense if he even was in front of him or in back of him. How would he hit Mark's face from the front in that way? I mean, it would be sort of a weird type of swing.
Yeah, he'd have to be to the side in order to hit him at the angle that he did.
Right, so it makes sense. All right, let's get into the movie, though.
Steve Miner, though. These are two different movies. Do you think he even questioned why they were going to change Jason's look? Was it his idea? You know what I mean? I just find it odd that the same director of two films consecutive...
Yeah, he didn't hold on to it more tightly, his own stuff. Yeah.
Isn't that strange? Why do you think they would do that? Or do you think he's even the guy responsible?
Well, maybe while later, he thought, or he didn't any longer like the look of that Jason and wanted to evolve it into this one. The only thing I know about the look of this is that when Savini came in, it had already been designed. Like the face part had already been designed, and the person who designed the face based it on the Savini design from part 1 at the very end, the kid design.
Which is cool.
And so when he came in to do the effects for this film, that part had already been done, so he just took that and ran with it. So that's not even something he did. It was just something that was based off his original design. So I'm not sure who made the actual decision to go bald and, all of that, or why, but I actually like it better.
Well, if somebody had an archetype and it was a mask and a bald guy and the green outfit, and they said this is what we want him to look like, then I could see, Steve Myers saying that looks great.
I'm guessing that whoever designed the head for part 3 was looking at the design from the kid Jason from the original and tried to go from there. Otherwise, either that or they didn't want hair hanging out from behind the mask. I don't know. I mean, I've never heard anybody say anything one way or the other as to where it came from.
That is the one improvement. I'm glad they got rid of the hair. I don't like when they brought the hair later on and fucking 9 and 10 and...
I hate those wispy pieces of hair hanging out. God, it just drives me nuts.
Yeah, so do I. Just keep him bald or keep... I have no complaints on part 2. Part 2 with its own entity. I love it. That's fine. But after that, once they made him Jason Baldhead in 3, he should have just remained that way in every other movie from that forward.
Of course, I don't get that bumpy head and Jason Goes to Hell either. Like, I don't understand what that's about. It looks like a spider's egg sac on the hiding behind the mask. It's I swear, if you look at it, it pulsates.
Ugh. It's fucking gross. They did nothing right in that movie. That's another story. It looks... all you guys, there's one thing I noticed. When Edna's watching the news, and they're talking about the massacre at Crystal Lake, they say that there's 8 bodies discovered. And then they said it's the brutal and most heinous crime in local history. And they're talking about the night before.
Did they forget about 5 years ago?
That's what I'm saying. What about part 1? Right. What the fuck is with that? I think part 1 had a higher body count, honestly.
Oh, of course.
Either way, I found that funny. I'm like, why is that the most fucking... Like, it never happened before. It just fucking happened at the same place 5 years before.
That makes no sense.
No.
I told you this movie's not as good as part 2.
All right, well, here's the question I have about, as long as you're talking about Edna. Well, actually, 2 things. One, first of all, are we really supposed to believe that she's older just because they put curlers in her hair? That chick is like 24 if she's a day. I am not going to buy that she's married to Harold and she's all run down living in this storehouse thing. And secondly, who in the fuck has a bathroom with corrugated aluminum walls in their home? I don't understand this house. I can't figure it out. And Brian's like, well, they're living behind the store. Okay, but it's still a living area. It's still living quarters. I don't understand
Hey,
it.
honey, we're going to have a really shitty bathroom because we live near the store.
Right. They don't have a bathtub. They don't have a shower. They have a toilet with corrugated aluminum walls. It looks like an outhouse. And I don't get it. I can't make this
They
whole
drive
thing
up
work
to
in my
Higgins Haven and get washed in the lake.
Yeah. I mean, they've got TV.
I think Demon would actually say that shitbox was gross.
He would. I think he did.
I think he was in that one in part 5 sometime.
Well, part 5 did rip it off. They did the exact same thing with the shaking.
Yeah, and shitting and no wiping, too.
But, of course. Maybe he didn't actually shit. Maybe
And
he
they don't
just
have
sat down and got
doors.
scared.
They have curtains or like hanging blankets on hooks for doors. I'm like, where are you living? And Edna's like, I work really hard to keep this place. You what?
No, Dave, you actually hear Harold's shit hit the water.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty gross. I hate that.
Maybe we do.
Yeah, it's gross.
I just got confused with the Chuck scene, how he was being shaken in the fucking thing, the same way Demon in 5. For some reason, I thought of Chuck just for a second, because their bathroom looks so shitty. I only see wood where Harold was shitting, so it's kind of a shitty bathroom too. I don't know.
Maybe
He
they
looks
just
like
don't
Robin
have good
Williams.
bathrooms in this area. Maybe Crystal Lake has a deficiency of normal bathrooms. That's the problem, I guess.
Maybe so. Who looks like Robin Williams?
Chuck looks like Robin Williams.
What?
He looks like a pothead Robin Williams.
He looks like Robin Williams. Yeah, pothead Moscow on the Hudson Robin Williams.
Wait, I have something that's pretty redundant. He looks like a drug addict Robin Williams.
Actually, I just pulled up a picture of Chuck, and you're totally right.
Holy shit. So,
At the time, I'll tell you
He
what.
looks like Mork on a bender.
Chuck from work.
Heavy shit, man.
clearly Chuck and Chili are Cheech and Chong. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, it's
Chili's a pretty, upset. I mean, she's a poor excuse for a Chong, I think, but still.
Yeah.
She's
well,
not
yeah.
even Mexican.
What? Right.
She's Mexican.
She wasn't Mexican, sorry.
Yeah, she's Mexican chili. Yeah, so, wait. Yeah, well, let's get to some aspects that are worth talking about, like the opening music.
Ooh, I love it.
Now, look, we could... I mean, tell me the first time you got into these movies that you weren't like, oh, what the fuck? Like, what are they doing here?
I've always liked it. I've always thought it was kind of cool.
But it doesn't fit anything that the Friday movies are about.
No, I mean, I guess that's true. But I always just thought it was kind of catchy.
It fits in.
I can't do it.
It's a play on the fucking theme.
Why were they playing that intro music in the fucking convenience store?
I don't know, but it's great, isn't it?
Like, why would they randomly? Like, why would that ever be on the radio? And
disco.
It's reflective of the times, I guess. That's what they wanted to do.
But why couldn't they do?
Sail away, tiny sparrow. Spread your wings and fly to the sun. Catch the wind, don't let your heart belong to anyone. Sail away.
I would love it if they had played that song. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, that would have been a cool nod.
Yeah, what a nod to part one, and also because part threes are always reflections of part ones of all the time.
This is true.
You are in my same mindset.
What?
That's my mindset too.
Is Mike talking to us?
Yes.
He might be talking to himself. Talking about his mindset. You were in my mindset.
I think, Alex, that's even compounded in the choice that they made for the ending here, because there are 3 different versions that were talked about, and with the ending that they chose, that was clearly a conscious decision to mirror the first one.
Right. Well, yeah.
But you know why? Because this was supposed to be the end of the series. When they told Steve Miner, this is going to be the last movie, so that's why he did what he did at the end, because it was playing off of 1. Well, this happened in 1. Let's have it all end here in 3 with a similar thing to 1, and credits roll. Series.
You know what's hilarious? That if you watch Crystal Lake Memories, every movie was going to be the last one.
True.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was going to say.
It's like, well, we were going into this. They told us this was going to be the last one. They didn't want to do anymore, and
They all say that. Even the first one, they say, yeah, we thought it was a one and off.
Fucking Paramount's a joke. Hey, look, something about the opening song I wanted to throw in quick, because you'll appreciate it. My daughter, I let her watch the end of 2 the other day, her first taste, and the beginning of 3 to make her happy about the music. Figure she wouldn't be scared. So you do the first thing she says when the song is playing, she goes, that sounds like the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episodes. And you know where she's coming from? It does, with that whistle, that... You know how they always do the whistle on the Simpsons show? Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad that she knows that. That means she's being raised properly.
Hey, I do what I can.
That she knows the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. Whoever doesn't know the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror, you have to reevaluate your life.
Evaluate your life.
or if you're just listening to this show, you might want to reevaluate your life.
Like, how can you not watch those? Like, at least the first 10 to 15, minimally. I cannot believe that's not a part of your regular October rotation.
They're fucking great. They are great.
They're amazing.
Well, how about that? These movies are great. Parts 1 through 4. If you're listening to this, once again, reevaluate your life. You have to watch these fucking movies. I'm sorry.
Now, Mike, you're a connoisseur of high-grade, high-quality film and transfer to Blu-ray, correct?
Yes, sir.
So, in your professional opinion, you actually are a professional. Didn't you do this for a living?
We can say that.
What do you think of the film stock and the grade of the Friday the 13th Part 3 film?
It looks like shit.
Now, what is wrong here? Now, did anybody check the fucking gate? Like, is that the problem here? That nobody's realized shit gets on the fucking camera and they just let it go the whole time? Or is this a problem with the film? Like, what is wrong with this movie?
It's a problem that nobody took the time to go through and remove the instances of dirt and things like that in the actual film when they were doing the transfer. Very upsetting about that.
There's some things where you could see something in the same part of the screen for, like, seconds in a row.
Paramount didn't give a shit, and they just,
Well, when they filmed it, they were probably so obsessed with the 3D thing, and especially with the price, the money they spent on these 3D cameras at the time, which was ridiculous. They were probably all about the 3D scenes, and they just didn't put all their efforts into, the stuff that wasn't in 3D.
Even if you look at the Paramount logo in the beginning, it's like there's dirt in the mountains.
What?
Yeah.
There's
never
literally
noticed
dirt
this
in the
stuff.
mountains.
Wow. I'm glad I never
wanted,
noticed
like
it.
green mountains, and it's like there's dirt. Very
Green
disappointing.
Mountain, what is that, coffee?
It's bad, dude. It's really bad. And they could fix this. They could give this the Wizard of Oz Jaws treatment, where they go to every frame and fix it and contrast it and make it nice and pristine, like the other ones look naturally. And like this is a train wreck of a film stock, and it probably is because of 3D shit. And they could go and erase, watch the restoration of Wizard of Oz, and look at what those guys went through.
Well, Paramount's no Warner Brothers now. Let's.
No, and they're not going to charge $30 and get someone to spend $30 on their Blue either.
Right, that's the thing. This movie isn't Halloween, and it's not Jaws. So, despite what you guys think, I know you think it's since Jason supposedly is the greatest slasher of all time, and that you think this is his best movie. Guess what? The real world doesn't think that, and they don't believe that other people think it either, and people will buy it based on restoring it the proper way. They're just not going to do it.
I think it's because of the 3D and how shitty the 3D looks now, and how shitty the props look now, like with the snake and with the fucking eyeball and things like that. I think that's what takes it down a notch, and it makes people, the people that are opposed to the movie, it knocks it down a few pegs because of things like that.
I'll tell you what should happen. Paramount should license it out to Criterion Collection and let Criterion take it and clean it up.
Yeah, you're right. Get rid of it. Give it to somebody who gives a fuck.
Or Screen Factory, just to put out one. Just to put this out.
Nah, they're not that good.
They're not that good.
No.
Some are,
Scream
some
Factory,
aren't.
Well, no, Scream Factory would not do what Criterion
Right.
would do. Criterion
would never deal with this franchise, though.
They
I was
should,
trying to think, realistically here.
Yeah, but see, we need a passionate millionaire goddamn fan of this movie to go do something.
Well, when
Somebody
they put
give
out
me
the
$1 million,
box set, they
I'll
should've.
do it. I'll be it.
Yeah, you'll license
Give
it.
me $1 million and I will do that.
I'll do it.
All right,
Shit.
give me $1 million. Let's go.
I think this movie is worth going through every frame and fixing it up.
I'd
Maybe
love
you'll
to see
like
it
it
cleaned
better if they did that.
Fuck it, all four of us quit our jobs. Let's get some real money. Let's quit our job and just spend a year, and we all divide the movie up, and we'll all take apart and clean it all up. We'll be done in a year.
All right, count me in.
Nothing. All right, now where's our $1 million? That's what we're missing here. All right, so despite the film stock, this movie looks Jamie, what is it? How beautiful is the lighting and atmosphere and the music? Top notch, right?
Not really.
What?
No, I mean, no.
That's disappointing.
I don't think so.
You don't think it was great lighting and the music was perfect?
The music and the atmosphere.
I like the music, but I really don't think that this was filmed top notch. I mean, it's not like they got Kubrick in there to do it.
No.
No, but it's the same as part 2 or 1.
Well,
Yeah.
part 1 was very basic.
I would say the same thing about them. It doesn't detract from my love and how much I think that they're solid films, but they don't look that fantastic.
But Jamie, it captures such a great 80s feeling.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it good. I mean, we're talking about 80s slashers. The majority of 80s slashers were
They didn't look like this.
They're not
damn
beautiful.
cheap.
Right.
But and these are cheap too. And they don't I really don't look at this and go, "My God, the filmmaking is insane."
No, I don't know about that, but I thought...
But it's definitely better than the vast majority of cheap slashers that were going on back then. Sure.
It's better than like Prom Night.
One thing I hate about films is when you can't see shit. When it's so dark because the lighting is so poor that you can't see what's going on. I really hate that. And you don't have that problem here. So that's something.
Well, I don't know if you guys know this, but Higgins Haven, the actual place, was burned down by a moron fan of this movie who tried to light a fire in I don't know how you pronounce the word, faux fireplace.
Wow. I did not know that. I knew that it burned down, but I didn't know that a fan did it.
Yeah, and he took pictures of it burning and posted it
Call the
online.
fire department, idiot.
Yeah, like, I think he was scared because he wasn't supposed to be in there, so he didn't report it. So it's just gone.
You should be shot.
Yep. So that fucking place would have been here right now in the same exact, because I think it was built for the movie only, and so was the pond that the mom jumps out of, and they actually didn't seal it properly, and the water kept going into the earth because it wasn't properly, the plastic wasn't done well.
I love that fucking barn, man. I think what great scenery for this movie. I mean, different from 1 and 2, yeah, but it's what makes this movie unique in the series. I like that whole thing, the way the barn looks, and just, I don't know, it just seems very homey. It's like a place I'd like to go. I'm not a country boy, but I'd go there.
I realize I'm just a dumb country boy, but I have needs.
I am. Oh, boy.
Edna watches the news, and Ginny is on the news, and that's Steve Miner is the newscaster, as everybody found out in all those documentaries. And so that proves that it's weird, because people are saying that the end of part 2 was a dream, and that's why Jason never jumped through the window. That's why he doesn't actually look like that and all that type of shit. But obviously he did. Otherwise, the same exact ending in the movie where Jimmy is going into an ambulance would not have happened. And it wouldn't be on the fucking news in the reality of part 3. So obviously he actually did jump through the window, guys. So you have to say that he shaved his head and changed his clothes to hide his identity. I don't know why he even knew about cops or knew about that type of stuff, but I guess he did.
Hey, he's like a savant. He really is. In some ways, he's completely fucking stupid, but in other ways, he does a lot of thinking. Like, he does a lot of thinking in 2 with the hiding and the jumping and the fucking out of the bed, and he thinks to take the fucking the coffee pot off the fucking thing when it's whistling. And in this movie, he locked at the end, which I think is brilliant. He locks fucking Chris in when it's the final showdown in the barn. He has the presence of mind to say, this bitch ain't getting out. So I'm going to turn around and take a few seconds and lock her in. I mean, that takes thinking. Mm-hmm. So yeah. He's not as dumb as they make him out to be. He's like a savant. In some ways he is, and in some ways he isn't. It's weird.
Yep. So the big question is, why would Andy hook a loser up with a hotter chick than he's with? Did he look at Shelley? Does anything make sense about...
I mean, because his chick is hotter, that's why.
They're both pretty.
Ooh, look at Jamie.
They're both...
No,
Debbie is smoking. Debbie is the hottest chick ever in any Friday. I don't care who says otherwise. They're wrong.
I'm going to tell you guys something. We ran a poll.
I wish I felt that way.
Our Skeleton Crew group page on Facebook. And I put up the 3 chicks, the 3 main hotties in this movie, and everyone's voting on who's the hottest one. And we got a lot of votes, well over 20.
I didn't vote because I thought we were just going to save it for the show.
Well, we are, but now that Jamie's going to contest what I just said.
Well, I contest it too.
What I say is the truth.
Well, can I vote now live on the show?
Yeah, that's what we're going to do right now.
Okay, I'm going to go on Facebook live. It's Vera.
Okay, Mike, who's your vote?
Debbie.
Yay!
Debbie? Oh, fuck, you might have messed things up.
Plus, you see Debbie's boobs. So plus, and they're not huge.
Oh, you don't see Debbie's boob. It's in every version. Did you know that? It's a widescreen, full screen situation. Yeah, some prints you can't see the nip.
Yeah, I know, because when I was a child, I didn't see them, and then when I got the widescreen version, I was older, I was like, wow,
really?
I can see boobage. Yeah.
Yep.
You couldn't see him in the beginning?
Not in the full screen VHS.
Nope. Correct. Right. Depends on which version you have.
And believe me, I tried to pause and slow-mo it just to see, and you don't even see the top of nipple. You just see nothing.
You know what? Unless I'm counting wrong, I don't know if I counted my own vote. If I did, it's a tie.
Wow.
Between who?
Between Debbie and Vera.
I think it's going to be between Chris and Vera.
Mike?
Still Debbie. Chris is new. Ew.
Never heard that before, but okay.
I have no problem with Debbie. Don't get me wrong. I'm just predicting that.
Yeah, Chris doesn't.
Most people.
Yeah, I think the tie is going to be between Debbie and Vera.
Got it.
Jamie is correct.
Yes.
Mike is correct. It is Debbie and Vera tie. Now, this could be wrong.
Although I love Chris. I think Chris is beautiful, and I wanted to be Chris when I was a kid. So,
Did it happen?
no, it did not happen.
We can make it happen.
I also wanted to be, but
I could attack you in the woods.
Right.
Tanya,
And be a douchey boyfriend.
I
We're
also
just
wanted
trying
to
to
be
get to know
Tanya
this place
Roberts
again.
from
Tanya Roberts.
Tanya Roberts from Tourist Trap.
No, you mean Tony Katane.
No.
No,
No,
that's Witchboard.
Oh.
Would you settle for Tanya Roberts on that 70s show?
no.
Oh, she was a MILF, man. Shit.
I mean, no, she was fine, but in Tourist Trap, holy shit.
Yeah,
When
she
I was a
was.
kid, I wanted to grow up to be that. I was like, I cannot wait to wear a tube top with cutoff shorts and pantyhose and high heels. That's
Did that happen?
That could
that
still
might have
happen.
happened. Yes, but
That might have happened? Okay.
She was very pretty.
I don't know. I just think Andy was trying to torture Vera. Maybe they had some kind of thing going on that he just wanted to torture the shit out of her and say, here's your date, bitch.
It just so happened.
Kelly is a nice guy.
Fucking Shelley.
He's actually not a nice guy.
Shelley is me,
No, he's not.
but
Mike.
not crippled.
No, you wouldn't go that far. You would learn your lesson after one or two
Actually, I wouldn't
times.
be able to swim, so if I tried to, like, jump into the pond or lake or whatever the fuck it was and scare Vera, I'd be dead because I can't swim.
Dude, he looks like he ate you. He doesn't look like you.
Mike, you would fucking. You're not. No.
He's not
you
even
wouldn't
that
keep
bad.
doing-
He actually fits into a wetsuit.
That's
He
right.
squeezes into one, but
You wouldn't put yourself down that much for fucking to try to get fucking pity fucking attention from people.
His name is, they should have called him Belly, not Shelley.
Should have called him fucking jelly.
Speaking of eating way too much, now who's an expert here on pot? It's you, right, Dave?
Okay.
Are you the weed expert here?
Yeah.
As
Well,
in
let's-
what respect?
I would say in all respects, I know an awful lot.
Okay.
Jamie may too. I mean, I've never had the discussion with her.
Would you overdose on any level and or die if you ate?
No one in recorded history of human has ever overdosed on marijuana, and as a matter of fact, that is the only drug that you can say that about.
Yeah, but who puts it in the context of eating a pound of it? I'm sure you would overdose.
No, you wouldn't overdose.
No, you can't.
Fucking fall asleep. You cannot overdose on it. You can't. I believe
Well,
that's...
you can't overdose. Like what he's saying is the worst thing that would happen is that it would just knock you out. Like it would just, tire you out. I mean, I think if you tried to force, like anything else, if you tried to force a bunch of it down your gullet, you might throw up. But you're not going to OD.
Okay. Rick wants to have sex with Chris 1 time in the morning and 2 times at night.
I like that. I've
What happened
changed
in the
my
afternoon?
opinion. I've changed my opinion on Rick.
He's not a douche?
He is still kind of a douche, but he is all about the nookie. He is only there because he wants to fucking bang this chick. He doesn't
Right.
really, and I never before, except for one line. It's like when he says fucking, and then he goes back to douchiness. But he's just like, how do I break through? That's a little fucking douchey.
How do I break through, Chris? I want to get back to you. So I could fuck you later.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But I mean, fucking, but still.
But he gave up a weekend with Mary Jo Conrad
Yeah, or so he
to
says.
be there with her.
Yeah,
The
Mary Jo.
Jo Conrad.
I think he's smart because this chick's only, he hasn't seen her in a couple of years or whatever, and she's only coming in town for the weekend. He's like, well, I'm going to fuck the hell out of this chick while she's here. She's coming back. She's going to come. And he doesn't think about this. He does not care really that much that his car gets fucking trashed a little bit, that this happens. He straight up says this, that, the other thing. I want to fuck once in the morning and twice at night. He is all about the pussy. He just wants to bang the hell out of this chick for fucking the 3 days that she's there, and then whatever happens, happens.
So that makes him cool again.
Yeah, that does kind of make him cool again. See, all those years that he wanted to be her love interest, and he just acts and looks kind of like a douche. So it was easy for me just to point the finger. But now,
Yeah.
you know what?
His face and hair
Yeah.
and his clothes.
He looks like Christopher Reeve to me. He looks like a fucking a lame-looking Superman or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
But I don't hate him
exactly.
like I used to. I don't think he's a douche as much because I think bottom line he's all about fucking just banging the hell
He's
out
all
of
about the nookie. The what?
the nookie.
Yeah.
I was going to
Well,
do that.
no, sorry.
Those are the first words I said. He's all about the nookie.
Mm-hmm.
I was waiting for one of you guys to jump into it. Yeah, I set you up.
Don't worry, I slam dunk the alley-oop, baby. Do any of you guys, Mike, you talked about you cranked out a couple times a day. So does anyone else need sex 3 times a day? Because I'm usually good once a day if it's real sex. Jerking off even is usually once a day. There are times when I have the weekend to myself where things change. But normally, if I was banging a girl, I think 1 time a day is enough. What do you guys think?
I've only had the luxury of
coming up with an opinion, forming an opinion?
Well, only once in a day, once in a week, once in a month, once in a year. But it's been my goal to try at least 3 times a day.
Get out of here.
Why not? There's nothing wrong with it.
What a waste of time.
I think I only need about 20 minutes.
Not if you're horny. Yeah, whatever.
How is that a waste of time? Alex is like, oh man, I could totally be watching The Simpsons right now.
Just, you know what? Incorporate The Simpsons into it. Just have the TV on, go doggy style, and be behind pounding as you're watching The Simpsons. That is something I want to try.
Smoke a joint and put an ashtray on her back while you're doing it.
Just multitask, man. You can do it.
Jamie, would you get offended if you were blowing a guy and his phone went boop and he picked it up and started texting back?
Yes, I would.
Yeah,
but
I think
I can tell you this much: I would stop.
Good answer, man.
What if a guy was watching Halloween 6?
No, what if he paused it during Beth's scene and had you blow him while he was looking at another chick naked in bed?
I need to try that tomorrow. Can somebody please have sex with me?
Now you're talking like Shelley. What the fuck?
Yeah, and then we will all put our hand on Mike's mouth and go, I don't think so.
Which is great.
Now, that reminds me of a funny story. When I was about 20, and yeah, I can remember back that far.
Wow, 37 years ago?
Oh, shit.
And 18 cats ago. I was about 20, and I was with this guy, and it was in the morning, and we'd had the stereo on. And so it went into morning news. And but we're in the middle. And so, but while the morning news, it's just sort of little snippets are coming into my consciousness, And there's a story about this guy these 2 guys who rob a convenience store, and then they jump on a paver to get away. And pavers top out, or like a scraper, how they scrape the roads before they repave them, and those top out at 2 to 3 miles per hour.
Right.
They mill the road.
So they jumped into one of those to get away, drove it all the way to their house, and what ended up happening is the cops they chilled out and they followed the trail to the guy's house and arrested him. So they're telling this story on the news, and I start cracking up laughing, and the guy was like, "What, you laughing at my dick?" I was like, what? No, I was listening to the news. And then I was like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry you couldn't hold my attention.
Yeah, I would have said, yeah, you're underperforming.
You're only fucking me.
But it's so funny, because it was so funny. That's immediately what he jumped to. It's like, oh, you laugh. You must be laughing at my dick.
Wow, somebody's got some insecurities.
Right? Yeah. Rick. What you said about Rick, now think about it. Let's say he's 25 years old at the most, okay? He's younger.
He looks older than me today.
He does look older, right. Today.
I'm 35.
He does look old, but he's supposed to be a young guy. Now you have this chick that's only coming in town for 3 days max. Of course, you're going to have as much sex with this woman as you can.
Oh, dude,
I would say the same thing if I was him.
No, I'm not disputing that. That's
I know you're not disputing it, but you're saying, is that necessary? And I'm saying why it is.
Oh, yeah, I guess so, yeah. How about the bikers, the whole biker scene? Sons of Anarchy invades.
Wow, nice.
Friday the 13th.
They did have cuts on them.
Yeah, I
was going to ask you, patches?
They didn't have a top and a bottom rocker, which would claim territory, but they were a gang of sorts because they had a Black Widow on the back of their cuts.
You think maybe they're just like stepsons of Anarchy?
Yeah, if you're a real biker gang, you claim territory.
They're stepsons of Higgins Haven.
I don't imagine they have a lot of rival gangs in the area though, so they probably just didn't even bother.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, is Crystal Lake rife with motorcycle gangs? And this one has 3 people? So
Yeah, 3 people.
one of them is the bitch. So
Yeah, the
Well,
old
she's an old
lady's
lady.
a member. But she's not an old lady. She's actually a member. Wow.
She was?
Well, I don't know. She has to be. She's running around with them. She has her own bike, doesn't she?
Hey, you're an old lady. We don't have to run nothing by you.
Very good. You know what, though? Do you think that they make money by stealing gas? That's their hustle?
Yeah, because he's like, and how about when Ali's stealing gas and the guy goes, I'll do it, and he goes, I know what I'm doing. Like, do we really have to question whether or not Ali knows how to steal gas? Is that really what's at stake here?
It's just exposition of how badass he is, apparently.
No, man.
I know how to siphon gas. How does that make you badass?
Yeah.
Well, that's how they make money. That's what they do. They steal gas and they sell it on the fucking cheap.
What was Ali's plan, though? Shelley backs up into the bikes like Pee Wee Herman. No, who did that?
Pee-wee,
yeah, Pee Wee.
After the tequila dance, yeah.
And then Ali just wraps a chain around his hand and then does like this fist thing and then stands in front. Like, what if Shelley just ran him over?
Which is what I would have done.
Yeah, that's what I would have done. Fuck. Who's going to know that I killed him?
He's a fearless biker. He's a badass.
And why didn't Shelley just turn to the left and keep driving?
Because he
Sure,
tried
yeah,
to not
that
be a
thing.
pussy.
What, Mike? Because he didn't want to be a pussy?
Oh, wait. Yeah.
So he didn't hit him with a car? That's what a cool guy does.
Yeah, well, actually, well, no, that's okay.
Sure, he is a
I
pussy.
misspoke. Yes, he is a pussy, then.
Yeah. Like, fuck. And what really bothers me, Jamie, about that scene, I don't know what bothers you. I guess the
The
fact that
window
he just...
pane that is the windshield.
Yes, that bothers me. It's a fucking pane of glass. That's not what windshields are made out of, if anybody knows this. They don't break into pieces when you hit them with things.
You're right. I never thought about it that way, but yeah.
That is the weirdest shit ever. Like, why did that happen? And then what really is another fucking peeve of this whole situation, ding, no, just kidding, is that,
I love it.
yeah, drink,
Ding,
is that, could you imagine?
ding.
Yeah, you got it. No, what really bothers me about it is that they go back, and then Shelley throws the keys to Rick and goes, just some minor damage. You can handle it or some shit like...
Oh yeah, that is fucked up.
Yeah. Why would you not explain what happened?
Why does he have no empathy for Rick? Like, why doesn't he give a fuck?
Yeah, it's completely out of character, I think, for him. Except that maybe he's riding high on this like adrenaline rush of, being a badass, which he really wasn't. But to him, he was being a badass.
He ran over a bike tire.
So he's riding high on that. He's like, yeah, I'm bad, and so he throws at him.
Minor damage.
I agree with Jamie. That's totally it, man. He's proud as a peacock at that moment because remember, think about how excited Vera was. Did I do it? Yeah, you did it.
She said I was great.
Exactly. So she gave him a little bit of gave him some props. He's fucking the man now. He's right. An asshole like that would fucking ride high just that easy.
Right.
It does actually fit into his personality in that instance because someone that's like that, that's what they would do.
A normal tough guy would get out of the car and beat the fuck out of Ali. But instead, this guy just runs his car and hits his bike with it.
Oh, that's the greatest, too.
Jerk off.
I just think it's funny that they never explain. Think about if it was you in your car. Even if you're the coolest cat in the world, like a guy like me, I'm pretty level-headed about something like that. But if they brought the thing over and they said,
You
hey,
better fucking tell me what happened.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing's fucking smashed. Your windshield's smashed. Listen, hey, mind telling me what happened?
Yeah, I'd go, whoa, asshole. Come here. Come here, asshole.
Right.
What the fuck happened to my car?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't know fucking minor damage. I'm gonna take it out of your ass if you don't give me the fucking money for it right now.
Kick his ass, Rick.
You don't even...
So Rick is the pussy, actually.
You don't even have to do it that way. You could just say, hey, well, what the hell happened here, man? That's why I would...
No, dude.
You wouldn't
You
have
gotta be angry.
You show up at my fucking doorstep with my car in shattered glass pieces, and you say that you throw my fucking keys to me and say,
Oh, yeah.
I'd probably, first of all, I'd fucking clock you right there. Then when you wake up, then we'll talk about it.
Oh, right. Yeah, I didn't mean it that way. If he treated me that way, yeah, then I'd be really pissed. But initially, if they pulled up, I'd be like, what the fuck happened here? You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Just 'cause
Well,
I
he
saw
did
him
say that.
killed.
He didn't say. Well, he didn't say what the fuck happened.
That's after her. Yeah, he did say that. But then
He did say what
after
happened.
Shelley threw him the keys. He should have had a different reaction. But once again, it goes back to why he's not such a douche. He doesn't give a fuck. He's willing to fucking part with a couple $100 because he's gonna bang the shit out of Chris that week.
Oh, come on. Was he that hard up?
Wait, hey, it is
Dude, he has Mary Jo Conrad in the back pocket. Why would he worry about this chick?
variety, brother. The spice of life.
Yeah, right.
That's all.
Yeah, so is $300.
Or apparently like $17.50, which is what that piece of glass might cost if you replace it.
Exactly. Yeah, we're talking about a fucking pane of glass for his car. So the bikers, they want to get revenge. And what was Fox doing exactly? She's walking through the barn and
It feels good.
yeah, I'm just gonna slap stuff and act like I'm just like I don't care, and I'm gonna take a canteen off of a hook and just slap it and put it back on the hook.
Oh, that's the best.
Like the place is gonna be burned to the ground in a half hour. Why are you hanging it back up?
Wait, they were gonna burn the place?
Yeah, that's the whole reason they were stealing the gas.
Oh, I just thought they stole the gas just to fuck
No,
them.
fool, they were stealing the gas to burn down the barn as retaliation for their bites.
Wait, when was that established? What did I miss?
Is Mike inflating something over there? What is happening?
That's Mike's laugh when he doesn't use his mouth. Dave has been watching this movie for 30 fucking years and never realized. Oh my!
When was that established?
When he told him to take the cans and start pouring it around the barn.
Oh, he said that? I don't remember.
Take it from the party, start pouring.
See, this is why I can watch movies over and over again, and it's like the first time I watched it. The pros and cons of being me.
Holy shit!
Fucking goldfish. I know.
Mike, get some oxygen.
Mike, it's getting dirty in here. Can you stop that? I don't want to slip out. Holy shit, man! We're gonna slide out of the dungeon. And how about when she swings on the fucking rope and goes wee, and it's like, honey, we're all hiding and sneaking around. What the fuck are you doing?
Way to be inconspicuous, Fox.
Yeah, that's a little conspicuous.
They don't
Isn't
have
it?
badass bikers in their minds.
Oh, badass. Yeah, so okay, then fucking walk up like badasses and just say, yo, we're here. What the fuck? What are you going to do about it? Like, why do any of that hiding if you're such a badass and you're going to swing from a rope?
Well, it set up a good kill situation. That's all. That's the answer there. It set up an interesting, what's this?
Yeah,
She didn't come
the
off.
rope swung back. A 1 ounce rope had the weight to swing out again, even though she wasn't on it.
Yeah, it is uncharacteristic, though. I'll give you that.
When I was a kid, I thought that was Felicia Rashad.
Oh,
From the
wow,
Cosbys?
right.
Yeah.
The younger version?
Yeah, that could work.
Put the bitch on the phone? God, your nose is on fire today, Mike. What the fuck is it with you?
I picture him flying around the room. Like a balloon.
Yeah, he's like a balloon.
Yeah, you pop it.
Mike, you're ruining all the background music on this episode.
He's like the old lady in Suspiria.
Oh, shit, I can't take it. I can't take it. Oh, God, okay, I'm better.
So, Chris talks about her past near a fucking drainage fucking tunnel.
Because that is a romantic spot. What are you talking about? He took her to the sewage drain-off place. That is hot.
Sewage
shit.
drain off. That's where they
Something
hang
else I
out.
never noticed. Holy fuck. I just thought they were sitting there on a piece of wood.
Oh, God, and I thought I was bad.
So now we established about this bizarre inconsistency of Jason's clothes. Now everybody knows this. I'm not saying anything new, but let's just put it in the show officially. When she daydreams or whatever about Jason, or no, it's not her thinking. It's actually they're showing us what happened. So this is supposedly real to life.
Yep.
Jason's chasing her in, like, he keeps, like, fucking tripping. I don't know if he's, like, stuck in a bear trap or some shit, but he can't seem to get up. Just fucking grab. I don't know what's happening in this scene. But, it's so weird. I'm like, what the fuck? So his hair is shaved already, and his clothes are Harold's clothes. Like, how does that happen?
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago, before part 2, you have part 3 Jason.
Yeah, that whole thing is. I got to tell you, I am not a fan of that of that flashback period, because it introduces the whole, is Jason a rapist thing, which is just bullshit. I refuse to accept it or even acknowledge that is a possibility because it's dumb. So I don't like that at all. I wish they could just remove that whole thing.
I actually do like it.
I do like it too. For the time, go ahead, Jason. I'm calling you. Go ahead, Alex.
No, I was just gonna say, the first time I presented this idea, oddly enough, was on the Friday 3 review, where I said, how come these guys don't rape these girls? How come they have no animalistic sexual...
Well, I remember.
Whatever. Yeah. Like, Jamie, I understand in the grand scheme of things, you're right, but at the same time, I would like an element of...
Who are these guys?
Why are they not sexually
Who
involved?
is they? Who?
All the killers: Michael, Jason, Leatherface.
Leatherface is Leather. There are discussions in various sequels of Leatherface,
and women.
getting it on.
But Jason would have banged almost every chick in part 2, so we know that he's not a rapist.
I think because if you all right, if you want to put a whole lot of thought into it, you could say that Jason is anti-sex, because of that's the reason that, of course, he would know that. But you could go the whole, his mother was anti-sex because that's what killed her son. So, he is, maybe it's just an extension of what his mother was doing. Honestly, I think that's putting too much thought into it, and it doesn't completely hold water. But it's just.
Did you see the sin? Yeah.
I think, I think that his motivation is not sexual. So I think that his motivation is just murderous. And so I think if you introduce a sexual element into it, then you make him a completely different person,
Would you like that overall? Would it be cooler if Jason banged these girls?
No, I like him. I like him as a pure murderer. I think we have interesting sexual elements brought in, like with Norman Bates as a character.
Right. We don't need Jason.
Or in Hills Have Eyes, you have that. We have them in other places, and it just makes him a different kind of killer. I kind of like his the purity of what he is. He's just out to wreak havoc and
to stop you from doing things in life.
I agree, and I like that, but I have to disagree on what I do think that he raped her. And at this point of the series, you're only 3 movies in. You don't know a whole lot about the backstory of Jason. You just saw what he was in part 2, and then you see a little bit here. That it's entirely possible, because he's, what he is, and he's naturally curious about sex, that it could happen. It could happen. I think it did happen.
Yeah, did she say she woke up and her pussy hurt?
No. I'll tell you what, though. I figured out why. Here's more proof that he raped her. Because you're right, Al, but it wasn't a bear trap. He kept slipping because of the pants. He had a heart on.
Well, and there's another aspect to this too. Why didn't he kill her?
Right, and why didn't he beat her up? Why didn't he do anything?
The parents came and saw it, and he fucking took off.
Oh, because they didn't talk about it.
That's why. Why would they not talk about it? There's 2 things that make me believe it was a rape. That's the obvious thing. The parents never talked about it. That's what I always thought. The second thing was what Andy says earlier in the film, when he says, as a joke, when she says, "I said, all you 2 are gonna do have sex," and then he says, "Oh, what would a weekend in the country be without sex?"
Cool it, Andy.
And he's like, "Well, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it that way." So that insinuates something. What else would it insinuate?
Yeah, she must have got fucked.
Right. That's to me is what.
Yeah,
why
but
would
she
they put
herself
that line
says
there?
she herself says that she doesn't know what happened. She passed out and then she woke up later. She has no recollection of any kind of sexual anything, or she would have brought it up to Rick when she's talking about it. She actually says she doesn't know.
That's what she tells Rick.
But how
what
would
she
Andy
told
know?
Debbie-
But so clearly, I think
Well, that's
Andy's
something
misstep
different.
is just based on the fact that she was attacked, not necessarily that she was raped, but just that she was attacked by a man in the woods.
I think there's just a loop. I think there's plot holes, but I think you're both right.
It could have. That's what I'm saying. Because why would he say that line?
I think
Rick,
Alex nails it when Alex says there are plot holes. I think they didn't think this through when they wrote it. I think it was just we'll throw this in here.
Yeah, because Dave's making sense, but then you make sense. So I don't know.
Well, check it out. I'll go further. What she says to Rick, because he's a man and a man that she's been involved with, and maybe she doesn't want to have sex with him, and this is another way of describing. She's not going to come out and say she got raped. What she tells Debbie, who may be her best friend, may be something completely different.
If that were the case, she wouldn't say, I don't remember. She would just skip over it. She wouldn't make it a point to say, I don't know what happened.
Maybe she don't want to get into it, though.
That's what I'm saying. That's what she tells Rick. She doesn't want to get into it. She's like, I don't know what happened. I passed out. I don't remember. Instead of just saying, well...
This whole fucking tragic thing about a rape, yeah.
You know? Because who tells that to a guy that they've slept with and in that situation?
If she was banging Rick, then gets raped, she would be... Notice that she was uncomfortable with
Intimacy?
Intimacy, yeah. She was uncomfortable with the intimacy, which is exactly what happens when you're raped, even if it's your husband, your boyfriend, anything.
That's true, but it can also happen when you just are attacked. I mean...
2 years ago.
Violently attacked. I mean, people react to things differently.
2 fucking years, and you're not going to hug your boyfriend or let him kiss you?
I love Jason.
Because a guy just chased you in the woods?
Well, keep in mind, she's been away for that long, but this is her first time back to Higgins Haven since all of that happened. All those memories are coming rushing back. She needs time to acclimate herself to where she is now in this whole situation. I mean, she's just going through a lot of emotional stuff. And also, it's just bad writing.
I think that let's not go any further. I think we're victims of bad writing right now.
And I don't want to assassinate the
the whole fucking review is going to be about this fucking rape.
I don't want to assassinate Jason's character because I love him the same way you do, Jamie. But I'm just saying well, you know what I mean.
This villain's character is coming under fire because he might also be a rapist.
yeah, we don't want to taint his fucking legacy here.
We are fucking fanboys. Okay, all right. The character of Jason. Okay.
Mike, do you freeze frame the movie when Vera's bending over and Shelley's looking at her ass? Is that a point of masturbatory fantasy for you? Don't tell me this asshole left again.
Oh, I don't
Son
know.
of a bitch!
I knew that. I heard the noise, heard the boop boop, and then fucking next thing he was gone. I thought you were setting up a joke when you said that. I really did. That was a setup. I think it's funny now. It's a gimmick because we even talked about it at the beginning of the show. Mike walks off. It's great. I think it's fucking roll with it. I think it's funny.
This guy.
It's his gimmick now.
I'm trying to get one thing done with him where he doesn't leave before it's over.
I think it's a cult of thorn situation.
All right. Well, Mike is gone, so we will continue. So, yeah.
Vera's ass. She doesn't have much of an ass for a fucking a Latina.
I know. That's the one thing I wish she had more of.
Yep.
She was, there's a scene where she's looking over the back deck or something like that, and, you know, she got that red jumpsuit on, or whatever that is. Mm-hmm. And so I freeze framed it one time at the end of a video, because I did a tribute to her in this video. And because I was running the Friday 13th website.
I remember that video.
Yeah, so in the freeze frame, it ends there, and I wanted her to look hotter, so I actually added, with a red Photoshop, more ass to her.
Unbelievable.
Can you believe that? Now, if you watch that video, now you'll pay attention and look at the fucking ass grow.
Put that shit up.
Yeah, at the freeze frame. What an asshole I am. Man.
Put up Died in Your Eyes tonight. That was the best one you ever made.
I just died it. No, I did, I really need you tonight, forever's gonna...
That's what I'm talking... Oh, yeah, what did I say? Died in Your Arms tonight?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm talking about, what do you call it? Total Eclipse of the Heart.
That's it, yep.
That was the only thing I ever saw that made me care for the characters of the Friday the 13th series.
Yeah.
I only saw everybody as red shirts in every movie, and I never cared about their characters. I just wanted to see Jason killing them. That was just me growing up. And when I saw that video you made, it completely changed my fucking opinion on things. I was like, wow.
These are real people.
That's why I praised that video, because it opened something up inside.
Thanks.
You know? Yeah.
And I remember the second half of that video was a little tough for me compared to the first half, because those were less in-depth people in a weird way. Or else maybe it's...
The series, it was later on in the series, right?
When I did the first half, and then in that big crescendo, I have Jason coming back as a zombie, and it kind of takes away the feeling. You know, it kind of puts it into a whole nother hokey world.
That's the series. 1 through 4,
Right.
fucking brilliant. 5 is the middle, you know, the segue, and 6 and on is a different series to me. It is what it is. Jamie, have you seen this video?
She left. Everybody's leaving.
I did. I don't think I have.
I'm so mad. She left. I'm sorry.
God damn it.
Funny. I think you would like it. I think you would really like that video. So
You got to watch it undistracted though. I'll post it to the thing.
Okay.
yeah, you might miss out, like, you know, people that you didn't know before were fucking stealing gas to burn down a fucking thing. Really pay attention.
He didn't realize the guys were burning down the barn, but he figured out that Chris was raped. That's amazing.
Well, that matters. Who gives a fuck about what these bikers are doing? You know?
You're funny.
Honestly. But what about Vera wearing 2 different shades of red? Chicks would never do that. Women never do shit. That's something guys do.
Thank you. I think of that every single time.
Yeah, well, see? I know.
Also,
I
I
forgive her.
I don't think those pants are flattering. So when she actually bends over, I don't like that shot.
Lance.
I'm like, if she was wearing like jeans or something, maybe, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, I don't get it.
I think they rushed this production and everything really went into the 3D. Granted, I'm still a big fan of the movie, but that's what I think. The parts of this movie that we're making fun of and everything else.
Yeah, that suffered due to 3D.
I really think that, yeah.
Yep.
As much as I have no issue with 3D, but at the time it was what it was and it was new.
Well, they say because of the 3D shooting, it took hours to set up each shot because they had to do it exactly right because of using the 3D camera. And they did a lot of sitting around and waiting. You could think that someone would have come to some of these conclusions while they were doing all that sitting around and waiting.
Yeah, like that's a lot of time to make everything perfect.
It definitely hurt the movie, the 3D.
Weird. All right. Well, we talked about another aspect where who was arguing? Somebody was arguing. I think Dave hates it when people say the killer is on screen too long, and then he hates it when people say they're not on enough because nobody is satisfied. Well, in this movie, Jason does not, you don't see a close-up of this guy until after an hour into this. And the first time you really see him is when he shoots Vera.
It's perfect.
You know, he killed people along the way, and you see him looking through a window, and you see this, you see... For some reason, man, it doesn't bother me at all, because you gotta remember, he killed Ali, he killed the black girl, Fox, he killed...
Loco?
Loco, yeah.
Loco.
You know, Jason did a good amount of killing, and you see him here and there, but it's almost perfect. It's the perfect execution. Dave, that's your answer. That is how much you should see your killer. Exactly what this movie did, and exactly what Part 2 does, and exactly what Part 4 does. Part 1 was too much not seeing the
It
killer.
was all POV, that's why. There was no POV here. But I'll tell you, here's what I love about this movie, that Jason is seen in these stalker-type scenes, where he's over the... You see the when they're having the conversation, when you see Douche and fucking... and what's her name, Chris talking, and then you see that Jason is in the barn watching, and then later on you see Chuck and Chili walking around with walking away with their arms around each other, and you just see like half of Jason's body from behind, and he's just basically stalking them and looking at them, like waiting to make his move. I think that's something that it wasn't done in any other movie in the series. I mean, we saw POVs before, and in the future we saw it executed differently, but that's one of the really good things about this movie. It's the only one where we see that.
Oh, it's perfect. The way they do it is perfect. The way they present Jason.
Very strong point to this movie.
Yeah, best thing about the movie, really, in a way. Like it really, and it encapsulates, makes it all work. Let's jump back a little bit and talk about. We've been praising this movie so far. I know we have been questioning things, laughing at some stuff, but now let's get to. By the way, it's a shame that the movie suffered for 3D aspects because, I mean, what did we get out of it? We got a rat on a stick, a snake on a wire, a kid's bat, an axe sticking out of Jason's head. That was cool, though. You got the Jason grabbing you. You got the laundry line stick when Harold was fixing the laundry. You got popcorn, a fucking terrible eyeball kill, and you got a yo-yo. Like... The movie suffered for that? Like, was that really necessary? I mean, come on, man. It's just so stupid. And plus, you even dropped the ball on the eyeball. I've said this before.
When the guy holds it up, or Rick's eyeball?
There's 3 eyeballs, actually. I should have had
the guy holding up the eyeball, the Crazy Ralph knockoff.
Yeah, we're about to get to him.
Okay.
But where they dropped the ball is Edna's death would have been so awesome if that needle came through the back of her head and her eye actually came out towards the camera, that bounce, bounce, bounce. It would have been so fucking cool to have that as your bam, and then all of a sudden the credits hit. That would have been incredible. But instead, you get nothing. You just get the thing sticking between his fingers. Like, it's just so stupid. But here's the thing, though. When that guy held the Crazy Ralph knockoff, who's randomly sleeping in the middle of roads that people drive on.
Stupid.
Yeah. When he holds that eyeball up, who the fuck's eye was that? That could have been Edna. That would have been amazing if that popped out of her head and then he has it and he's showing these kids. How amazing would that have been? They could have utilized her death. But instead it's a nothing.
Yeah, it should have been Edna, but the only problem is he says that he gave it to him and he spoke to him, so that wouldn't have been Jason. He was just a delusional old fuck.
Yeah, but he could have thought Jason was talking.
Yeah, I suppose.
You know, just looking at him, he's probably delusioning like he's saying things.
They should have just taken that out of they should have taken that line right out. He should have just said, I promise.
Right.
You know what I mean? Those other body parts, and just left it at that. Mm-hmm. And held up the eyeball. Yeah, man, that would have been brilliant.
Yeah. And then what was with the eyeball? Jamie, you worked in a laboratory. What would make an eyeball ever look like that unless they cooked it?
I don't know. We didn't do things with eyeballs and.
Yeah, what do you think she was working? Fucking
it did look boiled though, didn't it?
Yeah, it looked weird.
Yes, it looked like a fried egg. The back part of it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, they just could have utilized it. So, Shelley, you know, he makes this weird comment when they first get to Higgins Haven, and he says, you know, Chris says, why are you here? Why aren't you with the others? And he goes, they all said they're going to skinny dip, and I'm not skinny enough. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, who the fuck's skinny dipping? Chris isn't, obviously. Rick isn't. Andy and Debbie are taken to the room, and they're showing the hammock and everything, so clearly they're not skinny dipping. Vera, is she skinny dipping? Because I don't know why we're not looking at that. That should have been in the fucking movie. Is she skinny dipping?
Yeah, we should have seen it if they did. I wish they would have shown
it. And are the 2 potheads skinny dipping? Because, number one, I don't see them doing anything.
Right.
Like, I don't know who's skinny dipping here. What is he talking about?
I just always assumed that when we see them like a little later, that it is actually later. That they were skinny dipping at that moment. That everyone just sort of ran down to the water and did that.
But they're all dressed the same, and they look exactly the same. Like, how come they don't come back upstairs with a towel around them or something?
Yeah, I never put that much thought into it, so I don't know.
It was a stupid punchline just to make fucking Shelley once again find a reason to fucking insult himself.
To be the outcast.
More exposition on fucking the loser character that he is, and that he fucking constantly puts him. They should have just made it much simpler. Hey guys, want to go skinny dipping? And he could look as, I'm not skinny enough, guys. That's what they should have done.
Yeah.
And then end it instead of us fucking. What isn't it? When do you ever hear skinny dipping mentioned in a horror movie, especially with TNA, and then it doesn't happen?
I don't know. Never. So this asshole does this prank where he gets killed and he screams like a little bitch in the house, and then everybody comes running to him, and I never thought of this before, but how the fuck did Chris even find him? Out of the whole upstairs, they should have been just like looking in a room, looking around, leaving the room if they're not there. Next room, look around, they're not there, leave the room. Go downstairs, do other. She actually has the presence of mind to look in a coat closet to look for him. Like, what are the chances that he'd even be in there? And then he was, and then he falls and he goes to the ground, and then when he's exposed as, pranking, what the most baffling part of the whole thing is he pulls this axe out of his head, and it has hair attached. Like, where did he find matching white people afro hair that goes on this axe?
Maybe he made it.
Of course he made it.
With what? He cut his own hair?
Why not? Not his own hair, just fucking... this is something he specializes in. That's how those tricks work. It's no different than Tommy Jarvis as the kid in Part 4, doing his things, makeup effects and whatnot. Why not?
So he found white people afro hair?
Maybe he shot it, or he used his own hair, or he just fucking got it from the shop where he purchased it.
Hi, I want to put this axe in my head, but do you have hair that matches an asshole's haircut?
He may have done it that day, Alex. We could say that. Maybe that morning before they left, he got a little baggy because his whole life's in that little box. Cut a little bit out.
And that little thing.
Yeah, and that little thing got a little Ziploc and put it in there and said, "Okay, when it." Yeah,
That
I
was
know.
worse acting from Vera right there.
Oh, that whole fucking scene. Oh, stick around, you'll see.
Stick around. Yeah, that was the worst fucking acting. You're right. Like, the whole scene is bad.
I just fucking don't like Shelley at all. I just don't.
Is it all you two are going to do all weekend? Smoke dope? Is there a law against it, man?
I like that. That's funny. I like. Why?
Could you
Is there a law against it? Something.
Do something better with your life? Like what? I can't think of anything.
Right? I don't care. I like that.
Yeah, that was actually okay.
It's funny. It's funny.
Debbie is pregnant in this movie, so that counts as a double kill in a way, but...
Wow, that's...
I just think it's weird that she's sitting up in the closet when she's dead, almost like a prop, waiting for Chris to come in and discover her and then fall on her. That's like the Halloween shit, you know? Like the Funhouse bullshit, which I don't like.
Well, it's like, okay, why in the hell would he have stuck Rick? What the fuck is his name?
Andy.
Why the hell would he have stuck Andy's body way up in the rafters? I mean, and how did he do that? What he couldn't step on the bed to do it because it's a hammock. Can you imagine him climbing? Ding! Can you imagine him trying to step on a hammock with a body in his knees, swing back and forth? And there's no blood anywhere until it drips down onto her magazine. Why not?
Strategically, right. Yeah, that would have been gushing, like blood. Oh, my God. You'd mop it up for a weekend.
Oh, yeah, especially the way he looked when they showed him.
Yeah. Well, another what the F. Chili, her panic mode is just bizarre. It's like this slow run with this squealing, like... just like running slowly through the house in no real direction or no purpose. It was just so weird. And then
She was high as fuck, keep that in mind.
yeah, maybe. And then Jason, gives her the hot poker in the bread basket. That was the best part.
That sounds sexual.
And then she just stands there and lets him do it. Like she's just like, she just makes a face when he steps her in the stomach. It's just the weirdest high person I've ever seen. Like, it's exactly, I guess that's it. She was just baked. So she couldn't have any real
Her
frame of...
reaction time was slowed.
It's slow bad. Yeah, it's so bad.
Well, for her, I have a question. You guys think Jason put the fucking snake in that thing?
Well, what was it? A pet snake or something? Oh no, it was
it wasn't a
hamsters
pet. It was
or mouses are supposed to be in there, right?
No, because I think that's why
Rabbits. It was
the
a
rabbit
rabbit
got out.
hutch.
Oh, rabbits.
Right.
Okay.
And it scared fucking what's his name, so it wasn't supposed to be there.
I think a snake just got in.
You think a snake just got in?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Was he a fucking snake handler now?
I don't know. I'm just asking. Well, it it literally scared the shit out of him. Though.
He's a Jason the prankster.
He's like, wait till he sees this shit. I'm going to dedicate the whole day. He got to walk past his cage, man.
And this is going to make him have to go, and then I'll get him in the bathroom.
That's it. He goes, I'm going to scare the shit out of him. Literally. See?
It's all that crap you've been stuffing yourself with.
Yeah, that's why they set that up, because he did eat crap, peanuts and Sunny D and the donuts. So, and then a snake, I'd shit too. What about the cars? Ginny or Rick? Which one do you prefer?
And the Beetle.
Yeah, they're the same.
Jenny's Volkswagen, but Jenny had the cute little convertible, so I'll go with that one.
Yeah, I like Ginny's too.
Yeah, Ginny. And plus, Ginny's windshield isn't made out of a plate of glass.
That's true.
Safer.
It just has that piece of shit in the back, and it won't start.
Well, Rick's battery's dead, so I don't want to be in that one either.
That's true. Now, how's this? Shelley's trick would have been impossible to do when he jumps out of the water and grabs fucking Vera's leg.
Explain.
If she's, because remember, she was sitting out there for a while. You saw her walk outside after she did that famous move. I don't think so.
He could have been hiding under the deck.
Hold on.
But he was inside.
She walks outside,
Oh.
then she sits down at the fucking edge of that thing and she's chilling. For him to go and put on a suit and try to submerge himself in that water, in that quiet area where there's nothing going on, there's no way possible he would have been able to get in the water, swam that far, and knowing that it would be that deep. and swam that far just to come up and fucking grab her foot. It never would have happened.
You're right.
That's a what the
You're right.
fuck moment. Yeah.
Yep.
It just, I think that every time I've seen it, it just, you know.
Did you realize that? Never mind.
And people, what?
Nothing.
People like to talk shit about fucking the remake and what a great shot Jason is with the arrow, with the fucking bow and arrow. And the
Oh,
kids,
yeah.
Even though that scene is awesome. All right! And then boom, dead.
All right.
Right? And that's great. But think about that. He did the same thing in this movie. One shot, boom, right in her fucking eye. You know the odds of pulling that fucking shot off?
Yeah, thank God he had that string attached to it.
And I'm not knocking the movie. I just, you know.
Well,
I just found it funny.
the thing is that he was aiming for her heart. So he really is a shitty shot.
Oh!
Right through the heart, and you're damn life. All right, let's get to some kills here since we're talking about death. You got Harold with a meat. If you have anything to say about these, stop me. You got Harold with a meat cleaver to the chest, Edna needle through the back of the head, Fox pinned to a wall, Loco stabbed with a similar tool. The prongs are different when they... Oh, yeah, check this out. So Loco is stabbed with... What is that called, that thing?
Pitchfork.
Pitchfork. Yeah, dude. Sometimes things don't come to me. I don't know why.
You're talking. Preaching to the choir.
When I'm on the wagon long enough, you'll see I'll be a lot sharper in the future. When Jason, now I don't know if it's reverse how I'm saying it, so don't give me shit about this, but when Jason stabs him in the stomach, it has 4 prongs on it, and when he feels it through the back of his body, like I guess for some reason he had the burning desire to feel it come out of him, so he went and reached around and felt the prongs come out of his back, and there were 5 of them. There was more prongs out of his body than there were going in it. That's weird.
I never noticed that.
Ali was seemingly clubbed to death with a wrench.
What the fuck is with that? How come this guy, not once but twice? I'll bring it up in the finale because it'll make more sense there. It's okay.
Handstand kill. We were talking about that. We got, okay, now who did it better? Jack Burrow or Debbie? The kill where the killer grabs their forehead and rams the knife from underneath them laying down, and it comes out of the neck chest area. Burl, everyone's going to say the name Tom Savini, but in reality, Debbie's probably looked more real and natural.
I think they're both great scenes.
Right.
I guess if I had to pick, I'm going to pick Jack Burrow because of Savini and, you know, I'm sorry, but it's the blood. It looks really bloody and cool to me. I have no problem with the way that effect was pulled off. So, but they're both very good. I'm not taking away from Debbie. That's a fucking cool ass scene.
That's really tough because I think that there are things about the Kevin Bacon kill that look amazing. One of them being the accident that caused the blood to spurt. I really dig that, even though it wasn't intended to do that. I think it's cool. But I think I'm going to have to go with the Debbie one. Even though it's almost exactly the same scenario, I like the fact that she is reading the magazine and the blood drips down in the magazine and then she's like, huh? And then, plus I think it's a little bit more believable that he could reach around a hammock than I've always had issue with, like, Stretch Armstrong, Jason, or not even Jason, but Stretch Armstrong, Mrs. Voorhees reaching around a bunk bed to grab him from beneath. I mean, don't you think that her arm would have to be really fucking long to do that? I mean, picture yourself lying under a bed and then try to reach around. You're grabbing the edge of the bed, you know, you're grabbing, like, you're not, I don't think you're going to have enough strength, like enough power, like enough leverage to give yourself enough power to hold somebody like Kevin Bacon down, you know.
Wow,
Anyways,
good call.
I
I never thought about that. Wow. All these times I've seen that movie, I guess I'm too wowed by the fucking blood, by the gore of it. Especially now, I agree with you about, I think that the fact that there was an accident, I think it ended up looking better that way. But.
Oh yeah, totally. But there's something
like
about
Debbie.
the Debbie kill that I've always really liked, and so I'm going to have to go with that one.
They're both very good. Yeah, I'm surprised too, but they're both very good kills, so. You like Debbie, Alex?
There are things, yeah, in ways I think it's better. It's not as climactic. But also let's point out that this is another thing where the part 3 mirrors part 1. right down to the blood dripping on her, looking up, then getting that exact kill, which that kill in itself is a mirror of part 1. Like, there's a lot of things. Part 1 and 3s of stuff always...
I think it makes sense more in part 3 because apart from the whole long arm scenario, there's the... Oh, no, sorry, that was situation. Shit. Apart from the whole long arm thing, there's the, how is she going to have the strength to push up through an entire mattress and also
and all the coils and everything?
Up through his chest. And I think that's why they put them in a hammock in that. Like, I think that whole hammock thing was built around the fact that it really makes sense that you could stab somebody through the back that way.
Wow. Very good. I almost feel like changing my pick. Wow, that's fucking... Wow. That's good thinking, Jamie. Wow.
We're gonna lock it in pretty soon.
No, it's okay. And I love them both. And I'll stick with it for Sabini. That's okay.
All right, so
Shelley
lived an insanely long amount of time with his throat ripped open, wide open. Like, who has their throat ripped wide open and lives through taking the mask, walking out, shooting Vera, and then all that stuff, and then only before Chili dies, this asshole is living in that bad health to begin with a 1-inch gash ripped through his entire throat. Yet, when they just slit the throats of people in movies, they just drop to the floor and they're just instantly dead. Like, there's not choking on blood, there's nothing. But somehow he survived that. That's amazing.
I guess in that situation, I just always imagined he didn't kill him, or he didn't cut his throat until right before that. Like, I just figured he picked up that Shelley had left the mask and the spear gun lying somewhere, and he picked him up and then used him, and then all the other stuff happened, and then because we don't actually see when he attacked Shelley. So I don't know. I mean,
you can work around it, true. But
aren't you glad you saw it, though? I mean, they could have just left it at that, where he went into the barn, and obviously it's Jason now with the mask on. They could have just left it at that and not seeing it, so at least they gave us that, and we got to see some more gore.
Oh, dude, I posted the picture on our Facebook page.
And it's a fantastic... I mean, it looks great.
Yeah.
That gash in his throat is huge.
Yeah.
And
you can see what he ate 5 minutes ago.
And, it's pretty grody.
And
then you have Chili's reaction to Shelley, and we already have Shelley's history of playing pranks as if he'd been murdered. So that allows us to question, for a second, whether or not he's serious.
Yeah, it ties together. So
it actually all day. It was great. I'll tell you what. I think that whole scene with Shelley is excellent. From the time he walks away until after Vera gets killed in the strut is one of the strongest 5 minutes of the film. Like, how about the music that they're playing?
Bow, bow, bow.
No, before. Yeah, like when... What song? Oh, not the beginning. No.
I'm just kidding.
When Shelley's walking up to the barn, and they play that music, that doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo. I think that's fucking creepy. I think it's great. It was something that they put in this movie. And they toyed around with the music a little bit in this movie. They added some other parts and... That's another reason, going back to the beginning, why I don't hate on the beginning. Because it was only the intro for the movie. The rest of the movie is all Manfredini, and he was experimenting with it too.
I think that music tried to convey the idea of 3D and, like, stuff coming at you. I think it was, more than anything, it was made to fit that opening thing.
I agree. That's why I said it fit the movie perfectly. It did.
Right.
But when Shelley walks into the barn, or towards that barn, you hear that music playing, that doo-doo, it's so creepy.
Maybe I'll pull that.
Oh, it's great.
So we're talking about the fire poker and the breadbasket. Now, the worst kill of the movie, let's face it, clearly it's just Chuck getting thrown into a power circuit. That was just like, okay.
They dropped the ball.
Yeah, stupid. Rick's head getting squashed that was a 3D. That was full throttle 3D, and it was horrendous. I mean, his head was a fucking plastic toy with an eye that shot to the camera. There's got to be other ways that could have worked. Like, it just seemed like if they asked me to do that, that's probably the best I could do. To think that a paid Hollywood prop man or whatever you call those people, at least have Rick's real face, and at the very last second, you cut to the eyeball, or just insert the eyeball in post. Do something else. Like, that had to be the worst choice ever.
They fucked up. The 3D hurt the film.
It did.
It's unfortunate. They had the capabilities, obviously. We had amazing special effects, practical effects, fucking maestros working at this time. It could all be done. But apparently, because we want to see an eyeball pop out, let's fucking skimp on on everything else. It was all gimmick. It was the times. It was, it was 3D. It was the time. Just like now. Sometimes it hurts films now when you see them. It's like, oh, well, they did that because it's fucking 3D, and it would have been better if they didn't. So it's like CGI. Sometimes it works great, and sometimes it doesn't. You have to use it in certain aspects only.
Yeah, and what a great setup to that death. Chris goes outside and says, Rick, and he's being held right next to her. But
I love that scene.
So cool.
You've got the wind blowing,
Yep.
and like she's being blown around, and it's sort of, and she is truly terrified at that point. Like, it just feels so real. And when she's screaming for him, like also when she's backed into the corner and she's calling for him, it wrenches at my heart, because I mean, like, she feels so alone and terrified. And then to see him right out of her view, struggling and not able to do anything, that is, to me, is a horrifying moment.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's one of, when Alex said it was filmed beautifully earlier, that's one of the shots where you could say it was. It was a wide
I agree with
shot.
that. That is a beautiful scene. I've mentioned that on a previous show, even, how that is probably one of my favorite scenes in the film. It just it looks amazing.
Oh, it really caught my eye.
Yeah, I'll never forget when we went to go see this in the theater. We went in the afternoon, and it was my mom and me, my stepbrother, and my 2 stepsisters, and we went to go see this. And for some reason, my brother mouthed off at my mom, and she slapped him across the face. In the middle of the theater. I don't remember what he said but I just remember that. I remember him getting his face slapped and then us sitting down to watch Friday 3 in 3D. But see, back then, no one thought anything of that. Slapping your kids in public, that was no big deal.
When she slapped him in the face, did the blood of his mouth come at you in 3D?
No.
Well, so then the last 2 kills are actually, Jason gets hung, survives, and then Ali comes out. I guess he was just knocked out. Jason cuts the middle of his forearm and slices it off. His hands fall on the ground. And I don't know what happens. I guess Jason started stabbing him or something. I forget. But
I don't get it. The same thing happened twice.
The big question here is, how does Ali survive the initial attack when Jason has the power to squeeze someone's head until it pops? You're going to tell me he hits him 5-6 times with a pipe wrench and it doesn't do anything? His head would have been fucking pulp.
True.
Yeah, well, see, that's why he was so brutal during their second encounter, because he was pissed off because he realized whatever he did the first time, he's like, this guy is like a super black person, because obviously black people are like super, and they will come back.
Who do you think the extra bone in his ankle saved him?
Probably.
Well, what's her name wasn't so super when she was stuck to the fucking wood with a pitchfork in her neck.
Yeah, she wasn't so super.
And that scene was great, by the way. The reveal of it when he turns around and sees her hanging there. The music, that's something I like. The pitchfork in 3D, that part.
Yeah, I like that.
She was like, Loco, and he's like, Fox, I thought you were dead. I'm black, motherfucker. I ain't dead. What the fuck? Get me off this motherfucker.
Jason's like, I'm the only one that's supposed to be invincible.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
How about when, after Chris nails him in the head with the axe, you get that he turns around and reaches for her. He's coming at the camera.
Awesome.
And reaching for her. That is actually, it was this past Friday the 13th, it was my cover photo on Facebook.
Aww.
That is an amazing scene. It looks fantastic. I love it.
The whole...
and then he goes, with the arms out and shit.
Oh,
and so he's coming at her, but he's coming at the camera. And it's really cool. I love that.
Yeah, it's awesome. The whole final chase to me is just fucking some of the best.
Second best chase in Friday history.
First best.
Close. Maybe first. It's they're neck and neck to me. They're amazing.
Dave, just admit it's better than 2.
This is my favorite chase. I love the whole part in the cabin where they're going up, they're running around upstairs. She stabs him with a knife. He pulls it out of his leg. He throws it and hits, and it lands in the wall, like right by her head, which is cool. Then she goes to try to climb out the window. I love that he grabs her by the jacket, and her little feet are kicking, and she looks so cute right there. I don't know what it is about that scene, but she looks so cute and it looks like her feet are so cute and tiny, and they're just kicking, and she's like, eh.
How about
if I
the
fall
hang?
out of a second-story window, then I'm doing that Family Guy fall thing where my arm is folded across my back.
Yeah, that was pretty hardcore. How she just fucking wrapped a rope and just hung his ass. Like, that's hardcore.
The way he looked when he hung. I mean, it can't be a real person. It had to be a dummy, but it looked fucking incredible because of the
No,
intensity.
it was a real person.
Yeah, it was a dummy at the last second.
It had to be a dummy, yeah, because you couldn't do it to someone. You see how good that looks? It would have
Don't
snapped
you
his
guys
neck.
know what happened?
So they wouldn't let Ted White do it, apparently.
Dude, it was Ted White. They didn't even know he existed yet.
I mean, Richard Brooker.
Dude, check this out.
Dude, Richard Brooker broke his neck and became paralyzed because of that, right?
Yeah.
Just for the movie, he did.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let Brooker do it. That's why I assumed it was a dummy, because look at the way he's hung. There's no way that's real.
There's a huge flaw in this movie. I'm sure you guys seen this before. In the hanging scene. A major flaw.
You know I haven't seen it. Go.
Okay, check it out. Ready? So, Chris puts the rope around him, pushes him off, right? Mm-hmm. So the next scene you see is from the floor point of view, and Jason's coming down, and his feet are kicking, and it comes down to the camera, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe you forgot that? Well, here's the thing. The editor messed up, and for a second or two, you see that Jason's just sitting there, just hanging there, as a prop, is right about to let the rope go, and then he starts kicking, and then goes down, and it tugs and stops. Like, it's a real person. And they wanted him to kick his legs so that you see that. But all they did was nobody hung anybody. They put a harness around your body, and the thing that's around his neck is fake. And it actually doesn't go all the way around his neck. It just looks the way, but it's tucked somewhere, And so that is a real person.
Well, the way his neck snapped always looked so convincingly real to me that I figured it couldn't be.
Yeah, next time, or just tonight, go back and watch it, and when she hangs him, just stare at the screen and don't blink, and you'll see when they cut to the angle of him and he's going to come down and hang, watch. He's just sitting there, waiting for them to do that.
Well, it elevates this movie even more, as far as I'm concerned, because I thought that hanging was a dummy, and I always thought, how does that look so real and fucking Rick's head looks so fake? How they pull this trick off, but that looked like a piece of shit. But that makes up for it, because I think that when they show him with the legs kicking, and then ultimately with, when he's hung, I think it's so fucking incredible.
Is Jason well hung?
Ask Chris.
Yeah.
That's so evil.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, man.
Can't be alive.
Can't be alive. Yeah, that was the best. I put that in my song, I just had that quote.
Yeah, well,
I said, hold up, wait a minute. Can't be alive. Oh, not so fast. I guess we'll get to the end. Now, what do you guys think? I said it before. Jason's mom jumping out of the pond. Number one, makes 0 sense because it's not Crystal Lake. And two, why did she have a head? Her head was chopped off, and you could say, well, it was a dream, and it was obviously a hallucination. But it doesn't matter. Because Chris wouldn't have known anything about the mom to begin with at all, to even picture the sweater or anything. And two, if you're making this movie, it's all about the filmmaker. As a filmmaker, if somebody said, Alex, we want Jason's mom jumping up out of the water, I'd be like, okay. So she's dead and all that? Yeah, but she'll just jump out of the water as like a ghost. I go, okay, cool. And I would design something with no head on it.
Now, why would a ghost not have a head, though? If you believe in ghosts, if my head gets cut off and I become a ghost in the afterlife, you think I'm headless because when I was alive I got my head cut off?
Okay, well then what you do is you hire the real Pamela, you hire Betsy Palmer, and then you just have it like a something where she doesn't fully materialize on screen, like they shoot it and overlay it, so she comes off like a ghost.
I'll give you that. That would have been cool.
Except I don't think Betsy Palmer would have done it.
Exactly.
No.
So, if you're going to have a decayed, rotting, dead person, then you better match the fucking head being missing. Because now you're acting like it's her dead body that just came up out of the water, much like Jason in part 1. That was supposed to be his drowned, dead body.
Yeah, but, I mean, you made the point yourself when you said none of that really matters because Chris didn't know dick about that anyway. She didn't know who Jason was. She didn't know anything about his mother. She didn't, and I've actually had this conversation with someone before, and they're like, well, if she spent any time, it was on the Facebook page. If she spent any time there, then she must have heard of Jason and his mother. So maybe that's how she knew.
But she knew how she dressed?
But she didn't, well, and that's the thing is, just because she may have heard of Jason, she clearly didn't know who he was because she would have mentioned that to Rick when she was telling him the story of being attacked in the woods. She would have said, oh, Jason attacked me in the woods. You know, Jason Voorhees, you know him. We heard about him as kids. So clearly she didn't know anything about that.
Nope.
And if she didn't know anything about that, why would she know anything about his mother? She wouldn't have known anything.
Right, nothing. So but if you're gonna go with the sweater, lose the head is what I'm saying.
Oh,
But
You know?
come on, look at it this way. Now, that never bothered me. Never even crossed my mind.
Dude, you're taking away the mythology of the whole fucking thing.
Hold on. It never crossed my mind until I met you when you brought it up on Clad. And I was like, I go, that's interesting. But I had the same response. It never bothered me that happened. But now, here's what I think. That was just a nod to the fans because it was supposed, like I said earlier, it was supposed to be the end of the franchise.
You should have nodded so much her head fell off.
So,
Yeah, right in the water.
it was supposed to be the end of the franchise. It was just a nod to, now think
When she
about it,
grabs her head actually just rolls off because it's sliced. That would be cool.
that could have been something. But then if it wasn't, look at it this way. If she would have jumped out of the water without a head, no one would have known who the fuck it was.
Oh, really? I think that's exactly how we'd know. Who knew who she was? You think that we recognized her because of the head?
Well, I mean, it does do a decent job of, you know what it looks like? It looks more like the head in part 2 in the fridge than it looks like any other head than it ever looked like.
It looks more like the head on the mantle of the shrine or whatever you call it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine too. I'll say that, but that was a little more shriveled up. This one had a little more life to it, except for the worms in its face. I don't know. It just seemed.
I can't believe you don't agree. That's crazy.
Well, here's what it is. Well, hold on now. If you think that makes no sense, then you're talking about a series where if Jason jumped out at the end of the fucking lake in part 1, how did he survive? He should be a ghost in fucking part 2.
Right.
So why should this be any different? I mean, if you're willing to accept...
Because you just don't keep making mistakes.
No, but I'm saying you're willing to accept what happened between part 1 and part 2, but you're not willing to accept what transpired here.
Jason and the lake in part 1 was her imagination. That didn't happen.
Then who pulled her under?
She fell.
She panicked and fell out of the canoe.
Okay, so even if that did happen, then you're going to try to believe that part 2 was what it was, that he survived out in the woods, he didn't really drown as a child, and fucking all those years he survived on his own, and he never bumped into his mother again or went back home and lived, and then went to Alice's house and did all this fucking shit. You're willing to forgive that, but you're not willing to forgive the head on the woman.
No, I'm not.
You know what I'm wondering? Maybe Pamela is supernatural too, just like Jason. And the only reason that she died was because she got decapitated. I don't know.
Oh, like Michael Myers?
Right. Well, maybe like she passed the gene to Jason, and that's how like he regenerates himself and stuff because she could do the same thing.
Yeah, then he became a worm. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Let's not get there.
No, I understand why you have a problem with it, Alex. I do. And if someone says that, I understand that. I'm not ignorant. I do get it, what the issue is. But it's just never bothered me.
But you're not going to get worked up over it, right?
No, it just never bothered me. It's a nod to the fucking fans of the series. Because they were going to close the series out, why not do that? And I think if she would have come up without a head, I think it would have...
Awesome. Dude, my fucking picture is iconic.
It would have been... I think it just would have confused more people than
No. Okay, let's all take a vote. Who thinks it would have confused people? Jamie, would it have confused you if she popped out of there with no head and a blue sweater?
Well, no, I would have known who it was, but...
Okay, Mike, would you be confused?
Well, you would have known who it was, but the average fucking guy...
Who's on part 3, right?
That may or may not... I don't know.
And you're literally looking at her head at the beginning of part 3.
If you're not familiar with this series, you're not going to know who she is, head or not.
Right. And
So if you're just average guy watching only this, you're not going to have any clue who the fuck that is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she
Go
could be
check it
holding a
out.
sign and you wouldn't know who she was.
Check it out.
You're
It
like,
makes
Pamela
no
Voorhees?
sense.
Well, she doesn't even have the name Pamela yet, but I mean, like, Mrs. Voorhees, who the fuck is that?
It makes no sense that she came out of the water to begin with because she didn't die in the fucking water. With Jason, it makes sense. With her coming out of the water at the end, that
Zero
makes no
sense.
sense.
It
So
makes
as
no
long as it
sense
makes no
because
sense,
Chris didn't know who the fuck she was, and she didn't know
That's
anything
true.
about it. So that wouldn't have the whole thing doesn't make any sense.
it was an add-on that failed. It was a failed add-on.
nothing about it makes sense. But you may as well leave a head on. That's
I
all.
think, honestly, the alternate ending where it shows where the dream sequence, rather than his mother coming out of the water, the dream sequence is him chopping off Chris's head and then her waking up in the police car. That makes much more sense.
Now, why didn't they go with that one?
No,
I
the other
think
dream
because
sequence
they
was
decided
bad.
they wanted to do a nod to the original. It was another way to compound the similarities between 1 and 3.
But that was a nod, because when you cut Mrs. Voorhees' head off, now you're cutting Chris's head off. There's a
Well,
fucking
that's
nod.
true. You're right. That is a nod. But they decided they wanted to do it this way, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, the dumber, nonsensical nod. That makes more sense.
You can't have two dream sequences, one after another.
Well, why not just not have it be a dream sequence and just really decapitate her and just end the movie on a
I'd
down
be fine
note?
with that too, but
I
Yes.
think that, and to be honest, that's what they would do probably today.
it'd be awesome.
But in the 80s, people weren't that nihilistic.
True.
Well, then let's.
That's just the way it was. You're right.
I want to go back to the 80s and make it happen and just
Well,
be
we all
like, here,
wanna
people,
go.
deal with it.
Yeah, right. Make them deal with it.
You can't beat the first dream sequence though when she wakes up and fucking she's the bloody-headed fucking of Jason in that window looking at her, making that noise and running out. That's as scary as fuck to me.
No, and I think it is too.
Oh my
I can't
god.
watch it
because
to
even-
this day.
Because everyone, I mean, you're like, is that for real? You know, I mean, because he just fucking came back after you thought he was dead at the end of part 2. So it's highly believable that he could be coming after her at that point. And the way he grabs around the frame, that freaks me
Oh,
out. Like when he's grabbing around the frame of the window and then he comes bursting out the door. I think that's really scary.
Yeah, when he kicks the screen door open.
It's so
I still don't watch it. I've never seen that part in its
What?
entirety.
Mike, it's the
Right.
first thing I ever saw, and it's why I'm here now, because it fucking blew my mind, because it's so scary and amazing.
I've never
Everything
seen it in
about
its
it.
entirety.
Why?
When I know
Scares you
that
that much?
he's like at the frame and he's like and he's like I look away, and then when I hear the door break, then I know it's safe to look back again.
Wow.
That's funny. And it's so believable because everything that he already survived, the hanging and everything else, and the fact that there's blood on his face, it would have been from the axe that she gave him. So that's why it's a great trick, because it's like,
Oh,
at least they thought there. They didn't do like with Jason's mother's head. They put some thought into it and said, hey, let's put blood on the face, because if there's no blood on the face, it won't make any sense. Then imagine that. We'd be going fucking crazy bitching about it. But
So Chris pretty much loses her marbles, and that's the end. I mean, she literally cracked. She just cracked. She was already high-strung because he chased her and kept fumbling, fucking falling all over the place, and then she woke up in her bed, after that whole bizarre encounter, and then, she was already high-strung, so she goes there, all her friends are dead, and she couldn't handle it and cracks. So that's the end of the movie, and she's nuts.
I love that too. And there I go, ding. I'm crazy about how she pulls off crazy.
Yeah, she was good.
And, that whole maniacal. Yeah, it's great.
It is great. Very good performance by her. Absolutely.
And I like how she looks out the back window when they're driving away. Like, you would think that she doesn't want to see it anymore, but...
No, she's convinced. She wants to make sure he's not coming after her, because she doesn't believe he's dead.
Yep.
She's like, holy fuck, he's coming. Oh, my gosh.
So, let's hand out...
she's not Marilyn Burns, but she's pretty fucking close.
Right, no, right. This is true.
Hey guys, Brian Sammons here. Wow, 3 years. That is huge. There's a lot of shows that never even get half that far. And then there's a lot of shows I never even listened to that long. But you guys have been delivering the goods time and time again. And here you go, you just reinvented yourselves and you're still killing it. I gotta say, I love the addition to the new guys. I know Mike's not new, but he's new to me because I wasn't listening when he was first part of the crew. And I think he's an excellent addition. And then there's Dave Z, who's already on a million other shows, but I love that he's here now with Alex and Jamie. The four of you have a great charisma. It's enjoyable to listen to you goof around and talk seriously about horror films. I love it when you guys discuss your individual opinions and not only can just say, oh, it's good, but can back up why it's good. That's important to me. Everybody has an opinion, but not everybody can express it well. You guys can. So for that and many other reasons, I am happy you're still around post 100 episodes, and I will continue to listen to the crew for as long as you keep putting out shows. So, congrats again on reaching 3 years. I can't wait for 3 more. This is Brian Sammons, out.
So let's hand out some awards. Now, best kill of the movie. What do you guys think is the best kill of the movie? Usually people say Vera. People say the dude Andy getting the handstand kill.
That's my favorite because I love the shot. I love the under the floor, with the acrylic floor camera angle that we get. I love it. That's damn it, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, wow, we do say the same things over and over.
That is easily my favorite.
Okay, Michael J.
I gotta go. No, I'm kidding.
You jerk off.
He never announces who you kidding. He's just gone.
Yeah, he wouldn't tell us.
Right.
Yeah. Honestly, I think, and this is probably different from when I did it before because I don't remember what I said when I first did the other
Yeah,
review,
which means
but,
that none of this means anything, guys. We just hope you're enjoying yourselves.
But, watching it again, I really gotta say, there's like 2 kills that I can highlight. One is an off-screen kill. That's Shelley, only because when he's discovered, he's like,
Looks good.
Yeah.
When he's like struggling to speak. I enjoy that. And then Chuck, when he's getting electrocuted, the way he's like,
ooh, bad call.
And he makes the noises as like the sparks are flying. I enjoy that.
Wow, you're a bottom feeder, Mike.
Well, hold on.
Probably.
Think about who you're talking to.
My whole life.
Think about who we're talking to, though. In Halloween 6, they did the same type of thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at that.
True.
Yeah, but his head didn't explode.
Yeah, Halloween 6 executed it a lot better.
I
Even though I
agree.
don't like the head
Yeah, for a
exploding in
cartoon.
Halloween 6.
Ridiculous, but cool. Right?
Okay, so, and Dave, you said yours?
Even though we had the debate before over which was better, and I chose the other one, I'm actually going to choose Debbie. That's just a testament to how great the original is. Every fucking murder is great in the original, and not every murder in this movie is great. But that's a great kill. I love the way it looks. I love the seeing the fucking knife come up, the setup. Jamie alluded to it before, the whole setup of it, the blood dripping, the whole thing. And the possibility of it being a double kill, if you want to get technical. But
That's nice. That's what you like about it?
that's not what I like about it. It's just funny. I had to throw it in there because it's one of those things. I guess it's a depending on what website you go to and who it's run by. If it's pro-lifers or fucking
Yeah, I was gonna say. I guess that makes Jason pro-choice.
right. If it's a pro-choice,
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know what he is. Is he conservative? I don't know what
Although
the
that
fuck
wasn't
he is,
her
but-
choice, but he clearly doesn't have a problem with it.
But the body count will depending on what site you go on, as to what side of the fucking political fence they've fallen on. So that actually makes the kill even more intriguing. But no, it's a kick-ass fucking kill. So I go with Debbie.
You know what? That's what's one thing I wanted to bring up real quick because I had missed it before.
Mike, you've been talking too much this review.
I understand that, but no, this is we talked about this earlier off air, to bring it in.
Hey, keep that stuff private.
Yes, when Debbie dies, and Chuck and Shelley are downstairs, and she's like about talking about her screaming, and about why don't you make me scream like that when we have sex. Debbie did not scream when she died. She didn't scream. She was more like, it wasn't a scream. So that's bullshit.
Well, I
Carry
think
She's not a screamer.
Oh, you mean? Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I don't think sounds more like an orgasm. No, and that's a pretty fucked up orgasm if that's an orgasm sound.
They were man-haters, this movie. She bitched about him, and later on, and Chili bitched about Chuck. She said, be a man, man. Then you have an unborn baby being killed.
Yeah.
I tell you, this movie's political.
It's a pioneer.
It's as political as the remake of Day of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead, yeah.
Or Dawn of the Dead.
I mean, come on, they were at a mall.
Right, Jamie? Wasn't that?
Oh yeah, that makes the biggest statement ever.
So let's get to the stuff.
My mind reels.
It's strange. I have like a three-way tie with Andy, Shelley, and although I hate it because I'm in love with Vera, so it pains me to see her die. Anytime I cannot just soak in that beauty, it's very painful to me. So, oh God, I can't even talk about it. Let's just go to the next category.
Well, wait, when she dies, right? What sound do you think she makes as she hits the water? Is it like, come up? Like, what does she say? Have you ever thought about that?
She says,
I think her brain stopped working once the arrow went through it.
Right, but she like does a, or it says, come up, or something, And
Yeah,
then
she probably
hits
said
the
gum up.
water.
Yeah.
Come on.
So speaking of that, hottest girl, we the vote actually was a tie with Debbie and Vera. I personally picked Vera. What do you pick, Dave?
Yeah, I picked Vera.
And Mike picks Debbie, and Jamie picks Debbie.
Good.
So best couple of the movie, I easily Edna and Harold. That is the greatest relationship I've ever seen in my life.
Well, she cares about his health.
Mm-hmm.
She
And
does.
she's, she does the laundry and takes care of him,
Yep. She cleans. She spends all
He
day
keeps her
cleaning.
stocked in corrugated aluminum bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
I think
She'll flush for him.
she'll flush. Chuck and Chili are a match made in heaven, man. They're fucking great. They're together. They don't even need anybody else. The two of them could just hang out in that thing the whole time.
Up in smoke, man.
Yeah, they're happy as clams.
Yeah,
You know?
they tease each other. But I love them. Ding.
And plus, he was great in Miss Doubtfire.
Ding.
I'm also fond of Andy and Debbie though. So
Yeah, they're okay too. A lot of good couples in this movie.
what about Fox and Ali?
Ooh.
Fox.
Fox! Come on, baby. No one's gonna get hurt. It's fine. Are you sure? Then why are we setting their barn on fire? It's all right, baby. We're just saying that so Dave knows what's going on. I'm not setting the barn on fire.
He's only seen the movie a fucking 100 times.
Shit.
Okay, so let's rate this movie. Netflix style. 1 means I hated it. 2 means I didn't like it. 3 means I liked it. 4 means I really liked it. And 5 means I love it. Jamie.
I knew it.
I know what you're going to say that already because you put it in your top 10, so clearly it's 5 out of 5.
Yeah, this is a 5. Yes, it is. And even with its flaws, which I openly admit that it has, I am just nuts about it. Can't help it.
Yeah, I think I said it the most beautifully of anybody. I said, you don't have to be perfect for me to love you.
Aww.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just a good guy. Mike, this is interesting. What do you give this?
I'm going to give it a 5. But I'll tell you why. Because I was just, as we were talking, honorable mention for best couple is Chris and Jason. Because not only did he break her vaginally, but he broke her mind.
Wow, he broke her mind, her spirit, and her hymen.
Exactly.
Very nice, Mike.
That's really interesting, Mike. Thank you.
It's fucking great. If only Mike could say it. That's awesome.
Dave Z.
Okay, well, I've said before the first four are the holy grail of slashers, so I'm a big fan of this movie. It's not quite on the level of the others, exactly. There are some flaws,
Right.
but I love the atmosphere. I love it, and I love it much more. Like if you're gonna sit down and watch a slasher movie, and I watch a lot of them from the 80s. You say, here's My Bloody Valentine or Maniac or The Burning. They're all very good movies. Now, if you say, would you rather watch Friday 3 or those? My answer is Friday 3. And I'll give it a 4.5.
Wow. Yeah.
Great fucking movie. I really like it.
Well, I'm the only one who has to do some redemption here. So, if you listen to the third show and this one, it's obviously very different. It's polar opposites in a way with what I've been saying. Yes, I'll still point flaws out. I'm going to do that to my favorite stuff, so don't even think about that. In show 88, I came to a lot of realizations about part 3. In the last year or two, I guess since April 8th of 2013, my viewings of this movie have been a lot more enjoyable. And I gotta stop being so angry because everybody else likes it just because Jason got his mask, and I have to not worry about one of your stupid things like that. Especially, I found that horror fans who want to promote ideas or who want to really get a message across, like me in the Part 3 review, they seem to have this weird habit where they attack other great movies to prove a point about their favorites, which bothers me. So when I always... The movie that seems to be attacked the most when you defend or promote Part 3 is Part 2.
It sucks.
Part 2 is... It's amazing that a Friday the 13th or horror fan would ever attack Friday the 13th Part 2, which to me is the greatest slasher of the 80s, where slashers were the only real thing going. That's the best of them. And other people say, no, it's not, it's blood, it's... I've heard a bunch of stuff today when I asked that question, but whatever. To me, this is what it is. So I guess that's why I got defensive, and then I did the same thing. In promoting Part 2, I trashed 3. And then I got it into my head. So hopefully everybody could learn from me and my mistakes, and you could be better people the way I'm trying to be, and see things in a better light and a more, reasonable and logical light. So to me, when I watch this movie, just based on what I'm watching, this is a 4.5 out of 5.
Nice!
Wow.
Yay!
Holy fuck.
Well, see, also, Alex, you're human. And as humans, our opinions change over time, depending on the mood that we were in when we watched it, depending on what was going on around us. It could be any factor of things that it's okay, I've had my opinion change about H2O. Remember how much I hated H2O, and then I watched it again this Halloween, and it really wasn't that bad.
No, you watched it for show 88 and you liked it.
Did I like it then? I was thinking I hated it then. I was
Right.
thinking that I didn't like it then, and I was so vehement about my hatred for it, and then after that I watched it again, and I was like, just kidding, guys.
Oh, that's right. No, you flip-flopped on something else. You said it wasn't as bad the newest time you watched it. Was it the
was
remake?
The Friday remake. When we were talking about remake versus remake.
Right.
And I was like, oh, Friday sucks, and Halloween's not that bad. And then I watched them both again, and I'm like, oh, shit. But I still don't like Friday, but the Friday remake at all. But I do think it's better than Halloween. So, I don't know. But, it changed, I could watch them again tomorrow and have a completely different opinion. That's just the way humans work.
Well, let's
so
just stop here then.
it's okay.
Yep. Cool.
Wow, what a turnaround. I didn't think you were going to go that high with it. Holy sh, that's awesome, man. I'm
Oh,
glad.
dude, I appreciate it so much, and now that my defenses were down, it's so nice to watch things with clarity.
Oh, God.
And I told you on show 88 the reason why. I said,
Yeah,
it's because
no, and
everybody else, because I've been there.
You might have turned the whole thing around for me.
I tried, see?
So thanks for giving me another favorite.
Yeah, see, we all help each other on this show. We've done it before, we'll do it again, and
That's what it's about.
as far as Pamela's head, I see where you're coming from. I just try not to let it tame me.
I'm going to post that. I'm going to try to get that picture in the show's banner, actually.
With
That'd be cool.
with the headless one?
Yeah.
Oh, but Alex, no one will know who she is.
And on that note, the review is over. Hope you enjoyed.